Take a look at that. The towers have been rebuilt just in time for more CRL West action at the OGN Super Arena in Southern California. Hi, welcome back. Hope you're having a good weekend. I'm Rich Slayton. That's Andrew Guy. We're here to talk you through some more fantastic Clash Royale gameplay from the best players on the planet. We have a great lineup today of superstars, of upcoming stars who are looking to take one more step towards being the best and the West. And before we get into our gameplay though, Andrew, remind us of how these matches will proceed.
Yes, happy Saturday, everybody. We are starting off our day with the 2v2 set. Set number 1, followed by a best of 5 King of the Hill set. Each team gets 3 players. Each player has 1 life to try to close out the match. And if that is not decided in the second set, we will be moving to the third, a 1v1 tiebreaker set.
And of course, the top 3 teams at the end of this first split will get onto either a plane or maybe even a boat to go across the ocean to Xi'an, China to visit the Terracotta Soldiers and, of course, play against their counterparts in CRL Asia and CRL West to see who is the king of the summer. And we are going to go and take a look at the standings for a moment to see who right now is in the best position to hit those top 3.
And remember, those top 6 will be making their way to our playoffs. We are starting with Immortals at the top of the charts, 3-1, followed by Pain Gaming and Cream Esports, 3-1 and 3-2 for those 2 teams, followed by Liquid and Complexity. They're tied at 2-1 in 4th and 5th place. In the middle of the pack, we've got Fnatic, who is up first today, 2-2, followed by Tribe Gaming at 2-3, and Team Queso at 2-3. SK Gaming has only played 2 matches so far. They are 1-1. And as we get to the bottom of the charts, Misfits Gaming finally getting their first win, has moved out of 12th place into 11th. Dignitas has taken their place, and Energy is in 10th at 1-2.
And as you can see from what Andrew just showed you, some of these teams have already begun to solidify a good chance at that top 6 for the playoffs. Some teams really need to get a win today to move themselves into contention so they don't fall too far behind. And today we have some of both competing for a chance at those top 6.
Yeah, as I said, we're starting off with Fnatic against SK. Fnatic 4 matches in, SK 2 matches in. Next up, we have Complexity versus Dignitas. Dignitas doing their best to climb out of last place, followed by Team Liquid and Tribe Gaming. And lastly, the 2 powerhouses, number 1 and number 2. We've got Immortals at home going up against Pain Gaming.
That is going to be a firefight. 2 young stars. I really hope we get to see Lapa face off against Wen.
Man.
Both of those guys are playing completely fantastic right now. But first, we have a battle of the Titans. We're going to start off with Fnatic up against SK Gaming. Both teams are completely stacked, and both teams bringing fire today.
Yeah, Fnatic and SK, both teams coming off of, well, Fnatic coming off of a win over Misfits, a nice 2-set sweep. And SK Gaming started off very strong against Team Liquid. They stumbled in their last match against Cream. All these gentlemen are ready to go today. This is going to be a great Saturday, Rich.
I'm really, really excited to see these 2 go head-to-head. Of course, on the side of Fnatic, you have Javi 14, who made his name at the World Finals last in December, and of course, Faye, who is a fantastic head-to-head player as well, also in 2v2. Mikel 4 has shown up, and I really want to see Asuchini get on the stage. Sparky has got the best win rate in CRL West. Put that man in, Jose VTS. I want to see him play his deck.
And on the other side of it, we have SK Gaming with some of the most famous players in the world. We've got Morton, Soking, OP Sam, and the CCGS World Champion Sergio Ramos coming out today.
Mikel and Faye coming out in 2v2 up against Morton and Sam. Let's get to it. Kick off this amazing Saturday. Heading into game number 1 of our opening set. Very excited to see what these guys bring to the table. Morton and Sam up against Faye and Mikel 4.
It was interesting earlier this week. We saw the meta in 2v2 kind of shift again, not seeing any Royal Giant. Earlier in the week, we saw a lot of Graveyard Freeze, double Graveyard Freeze, and now today we're starting off with double Lava Hound.
Lavas will meet at the middle with relatively similar support.
As well as the MVP of 2v2, the Baby Dragon, coming out for both teams.
Lumberjack sneaks in, picked up by the Skeletons on the inside. Miner, decently timed, but placed in the unsafe position Early King Tower activation for this 2v2 set.
And the Lumberjack gets on the tower. Very, very nice exchange there for Fnatic, but they've got a lot to defend against. Lava comes down just in time to tank for that Princess Tower.
I have to imagine that that miner placement one tile low or one tile high from this perspective had to be a misclick there.
Yeah. You know, I really like seeing the Skeletons showing up in 2v2 a lot because there's so many other troops on the board that provide so much offensive and defensive capabilities that just using them as a distraction unit seems like a nice, cheap replacement for the guards.
Yeah, you save 2 Elixir. You know, I think people shy away from them because of the number of spells that are on the board all the time and the amount of splash that's been played, but not only that, but also if you need to get to a card quickly, if you need a cycle, you have an option that doesn't typically appear in 2v2.
Yeah.
And with that slower Elixir draw, that cycle option might be really, really valuable.
Yeah, very, very valuable. Inferno Tower comes down for Fnatic, providing great, great defensive prowess, if you will, over that Lava Hound. Lava Hound not making it across the river.
Well played, Lightning. I don't know if they have anything to pick up last-second Snowball.
Very nice Snowball.
So SK Gaming currently with a slight lead of almost 200 HP as we move into double Elixir time.
Both teams deciding to now Lava up again. We got
and now double.
Yeah, double Lava coming down for Fnatic. Let's see what they have for this Inferno Tower.
First one pops, second one goes straight for the tower though.
Yeah, raged up, Lightning comes in.
And the Mega Minion does not get in front of the Lava Hound, so Inferno Tower does take out the Lava Hound. Poison takes out the pups. Not very much after all that spent there for SK.
A very, very nice poison by Fnatic. The mini P.E.K.K.A coming across the river did not get the pickup on the miner.
And there you see the Skeletons doing their job. Both teams playing Skeletons. I mean, pretty much almost an exact identical matchup so far. I'm trying to look at the construction. The major difference here is the Fnatic not playing the Dark Prince.
Yeah, and that SK is not having the Lumberjack. Lumberjack doing a good amount of work for Fnatic. However, right now, this is a big uh-oh for Fnatic. You got the miner on tower. The pups are getting tanked for. Snowball is in. That's going to do it. Wow.
SK Gaming opens up with a bang and a fist bump.
And it looks like the battle of the double Lava Hounds goes to SK Gaming. At the very end there, you saw Faye and Mikel play Lavas up high at the river. And SK kind of doubled down on their defense and just sent in a miner to support the one Lava Hound. And I think that was the moment that the match shifted.
It seems like that might have been an overcommitment. 14 Elixir plus support cards for an offensive push that didn't pay off as much as it needed to for that value.
Yeah, we've seen the double tank decks kind of struggle this year. You know, double Lava Hounds and double Golems, they just provide no defensive utility at all. And as you said, it's a lot of Elixir to be spent.
Well, stacking them is one thing. A nice pickup there with the Skeletons on the miner.
Yep.
Stacking them is one thing, but it seems like when you keep running them back and forth, you get a little bit better utility out of that than when you're just doing double at the same time.
Yeah, rotating, alternating, whatever you want to call it, seems like a very, very good way to be playing those cards instead of putting 14 or 16 on the board at the same time.
So this is an interesting deck here from Fnatic. Skelly Barrel Graveyard. Kind of a fun 1-2 punch. We'll see if that works out.
Yeah, SK probably really, really hoping they have a poison in their deck, either of their decks. And Princess comes out, a card that we've seen very, very little here at CRL.
And Miner right to the Princess. Dark Prince comes in behind. But with that Dark Goblin not going to get to tower, so good idea there from SK, but doesn't quite pay off.
So we have a lot of log bait aspects here from Fnatic. You know, you've got the Dark Goblin, the Dark Prince charge, the Rascals, the Princess, the Graveyard. So kind of fun to see a log bait.
Yeah, log bait is the only really central meta deck archetype we haven't seen in 1v1 yet.
Yeah, and it was so popular before. You got to think with how strong Snowball and Bar Barrel are and how much Tornado is seen in decks, it just doesn't have the oomph that it used to.
That poison did not get one of the Rascal girls, so she's able to do a lot of damage and help clean up that lava push.
Look at this Baby Dragon. The splash damage is doing work on that lower left tower. So
another Graveyard Skeleton Barrel push. Poison not in cycle to defend against this one.
Yeah, that was a lot of damage on that left-hand tower, and now you see the Princess doing one of the most frustrating interactions in the game, which is just standing at the river and raining down arrows on your Princess tower.
So Miner to the back, turns the Baby Dragon opposite direction. We'll get some good damage here.
You know, and if it wasn't for that last Baby Dragon that was splash damage, getting the splash damage onto that tower, Fnatic would be in a much more commanding lead.
This time Poison in, no, not in cycle. And that's gonna be tower down, it looks like.
Yeah, this should be it. Fnatic takes game 2 from SK. Maybe
SK's just dropping a pile of spells, lightning in. Oh, the Poison, will it get enough
ticks? They should get there. There it is!
Oh, yep. There we go. We're heading to overtime.
And now you got to think Fnatic has to take advantage of all the elixir that was just spent on a naked tower, and here they go all in on the right-hand lane. Oh, man.
That might be the most valuable NATO we have seen played this season.
Ever. Yeah, that was incredible.
Wow, wow. SK Gaming, just by the skin of their teeth, go on into overtime and defend a total sell-out push by Fnatic very, very well. While they're behind, they are still in this thing.
And Fnatic is not relenting. They're going to keep going. Baby Dragon meets Baby Dragon at the river. Freeze comes in.
They sat on that freeze so long, Andrew, and that might be a game changer at this stage.
Yeah, we're at 591 HP. Now, they don't have enough spells to spell cycle in just one rotation, so they've got to play a little bit conservative here.
SK choosing to Lava up. They have to get Lava Hound on the board if they're going to have any chance of getting back into this thing.
And these guards end up, ooh, a nice snowball to protect that Princess.
Princess alive in the opposite lane. Miner comes down defensively. They did not take a lick of damage on that tower, and now they have 2 Lavas coming down. Defensive Poison here will clean up a lot of that action, so SK kind of sells out on offense and doesn't get a whole lot, although now it's starting to pay off a bit, down to 1572.
And that Princess hiding behind the King Tower for Fnatic was providing so much defensive utility there. Skellies are on the tower, and that is going to be enough to spell cycle them out. Fnatic here barely slipping into overtime, should be able to take this game.
So Poison down, Miner to the back onto the Dark Goblin. Lava trying to get in, Snowball is down. Will it tick fast enough? The freeze comes in.
There it is.
There you go, 116 HP, separating Fnatic from a sweep or game number 3. Game number 3. So far, the action has been fast and furious. Number 9 at this point, it's an entire franchise.
Starring Morton, OP Sam, Fan, Mikel. I'd watch that.
Morton and Sam, obviously, all drive BMWs.
I loved that graveyard log bait deck that was just played.
That was a lot of fun. We haven't seen a lot of small, fast decks so far in 2v2, and you know the success there gives me some hope of maybe seeing a little shift coming.
Yeah, but we are seeing right now a lot of similar things on the board. We got Baby Dragon and of course Giant Skeleton. Giant Skeleton usually paired with that Royal Giant.
Ewiz staying far enough behind to avoid that death damage, so the guard's actually working out in Fnatic's favor in that moment.
Yeah. Ram Rider coming down for Fnatic. Should not be getting even close to the tower.
Really nice use of log there to slow down that push in the right-hand lane. The log, sorry. I feel like I said University of Texas and not the University of Texas. Little slowdown here from both squads, resetting.
Trying to figure out how to break through. A great pickup with the guards there.
So MK and P.E.K.K.A for Fnatic, so 2 distinct but powerful defensive options. Kind of covering all their bases here.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how they end up using those cards together. That bomb misses the Lumberjack, demanding a response.
The Mega Knight might get one shot. Yes, it does.
Nice poison value here.
Yeah, both Ewiz is going to get taken out. by the dastardly spell. Who cast the poison because of that weird, creepy laugh in the background?
I do want to know. I think it's the king. It's got to be the king.
Is the king that creepy?
It's his evil side coming out.
So when he shaves the beard into a goatee, then he casts the casts the poison.
Miner not picked up, despite going to that #1 spot or a couple tiles higher.
Lightning takes care of the Inferno Tower, and that's a very healthy RG on the tower, and the Lumberjack goes down on defense. So that Lumberjack, which would have been so key to defending the right-hand lane, goes down, and now it's 2. Ewiz is trying to hold off, but down to 1381. SK Gaming roars into the lead.
Yeah, and that raged up Ewiz did a great job, but as you said, Rich, a ton of damage already dealt on Fnatic's right-hand tower.
And nothing to pick up this Lumberjack on the left-hand side either. It's Mega Minion does it a little bit, but down to 2134 on the left-hand side. Miner coming in to the safe spot of SK Gaming. Followed by the Log, anticipating, trying to predict some sort of defensive response. Nothing comes in.
Yeah, the guards or the skeletons have been used many times to pick that up. That Log was a big miss, though.
So Inferno Dragon, Inferno Tower, Lumberjack, P.E.K.K.A, and Ewiz all tag team on that Royal Giant.
P.E.K.K.A not drawn in by the Inferno Tower, but cleaned up very easily. Ooh, and look at that, the double Log, the Bar Barrel and the Log come down.
And it's the Ram Rider stun that really ends up being the MVP of that exchange.
And that Dark Prince almost getting to tower, not quite. Great use of skeletons there by SK.
SK is way behind on Elixir, and that was a moment in which they may have been able to be punished. I don't know if Fnatic realized the lead they had in that moment.
Yeah, they are just so focused on defending this right-hand tower, and they're having such a hard time doing it.
That's gonna be some good giant skeleton bomb value.
Fnatic really needs to figure out how to rotate their Ram Riders with their Inferno Tower to make sure that there are no more Royal Giant connections on that bottom right-hand tower.
It's more than they maybe anticipated, but I'm not against that decision to just let the Mega Knight get on tower on the right-hand lane. SK was pretty low on defense. They're able to save the Elixir to pick up the Ram Rider on the left-hand side, and that was a fully healthy tower, so a good but hard choice made there.
Yeah, I mean, the worst-case scenario there is that Fnatic ends up taking a damage lead on the right-hand side and then has to play into the same lane as SK, and then SK doesn't have to split their damage or Elixir, focusing on defense on the opposite side.
So here we have a fully healthy P.E.K.K.A and Dark Prince. Dark Prince does not quite get the tower. Oh no, it does get a shot.
Barb is getting tanked for by skeletons. Yeah, that Log had to come in. That was a ton of damage on that left-hand tower for Fnatic.
SK Gaming just struggling to find enough Elixir to defend here.
Oh, wow.
And now Baby Dragon and Miner on the tower. That is a ton of damage.
523 HP. You got to imagine there's some big spells in the hand here.
Oh, no! Wow, Ram Rider gets in. Lightning takes it. SK Gaming falls to Faye and Mikel 04 in our 2v2 set. Faye, Javi, Mikel 04 up for Fnatic, and across from them it's going to be Morton, Sam, and then Soking if necessary.
Yeah, that is a terrifying lineup on both sides of the board, honestly. And now Morton has to bounce back from that 2v2 set that it looked like they were going to take for a moment there, and, you know, Fnatic just said, no, sir.
Morton opening up Furnace, Dark Prince. And up against Hog, EQ, and that EQ is going to be frustrating for that Furnace.
Morton last season was 2-1 in 1v1 sets, 5-3 in games. So far, this is only his second head-to-head appearance at CRL. And the Furnace Goblin Hut deck again.
Wow. Wow, we saw this the other day. Very interesting construction. Now, we did see this one with Barbs and Musketeer as opposed to Dark Prince.
Yeah, and I believe it did go up against a Hog EQ deck. Because I remember the EQ having to pick and choose between going on the Goblin Hut or the Furnace.
That does sound right. Flying Machine. So I'm wondering if we're seeing... Are we possibly seeing some sort of fireball bait?
Yeah, this is a very, very interesting deck. And the Flying Machine is one of the most frustrating cards in the game if you miss a pickup on it, or if your spell comes in a little bit early or a little bit late, it just shoots at your tower from a distance.
Morton so far playing this just as you should. Of course, he's taking some damage from those earthquakes.
Faye here has to keep in mind about the Inferno Tower placement to stay out of range of that flying machine from across the river.
Three Musketeers.
This is a fascinating deck. Some of the pros in the audience very surprised to see this as well.
We have not seen much 3M. I think it's only the second time we've seen the girls with their muskets come out so far, and it is a fireball bait deck. It's 3M Royal Hogs. This dominated, not this exact construction, but this idea dominated last season.
We all know that Morton loves his piggies, and it's very, very exciting to see this deck come out.
So now we're in double elixir time. We're going to see if Morton starts putting pressure on. And interesting to note, we talk about this being fireball bait. With the EQ and snowball in there, no real direct way to go after either the flying machine or the 3M or the Hogs.
Inferno Tower comes down, plays some defense here, and bring those Hogs all to the center.
I think this is going to be very, very difficult for Faye as we get deeper into this sudden death overtime.
Yeah, I mean, he just does not have the spell power you need here. And honestly, the DPS, really, just all the way across the board.
He's got to just keep pressure on at the best that he can and hope that he can steal that left-hand tower before Morton overwhelms it.
And this is exactly what I was talking about with that flying machine up against the Inferno Tower. You see it's just sitting in the safe spot, just picking away Faye's troops. And yeah, it seems near impossible for Morton to lose this match. And look at that flying machine on the tower, tanked for by those Hogs. That is devastating.
Wow, and he's back to the 3 Musketeers as well. So here you go, Faye selling out in the right-hand lane with a big, big Hog EQ push.
And a great push, but it is most likely going to be too little, too late. Those 2 Musketeers on the left-hand side are unchecked at the moment. One does lock on.
And not even splitting, just going all in on one side.
And now, yeah, this is going to be a tough one for Faye to bounce back from.
Morton doesn't have any direct damage ability whatsoever. This is a except for this bar barrel, a no spell deck. So, you know, if Faye can play enough defense to keep him off towers, he could steal this thing. He could keep that 322 up there for a while.
And again, that flying machine just sitting pretty, picking off that ice golem. 2 Musketeers on the left-hand side are in. One is on the tower.
That's going to be it.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, not quite.
Faye very, very frustrated. Feeling like he has no answer. And the dual lane push comes in. Prince will connect. That is going to do it with the Hogs on the right-hand side. Oh, or the left.
There you go. Morton takes the first win of King of the Hill.
And that fireball bait deck just completely overwhelmed Faye from Morton. I mean, a fascinating deck construction, as you said. No big spell in there, no direct damage. Barbells can't get to the tower, but played just perfectly by Morton.
I mean, that was just a difficult matchup, top to bottom for Faye. Double building was already going to be defensively can buy the time, and then, you know, when you have 3 Musketeers and Royal Hogs coming down and the flying machine that he really didn't have a good answer for.
Yep.
At that point, there's defensively there weren't a lot of options for him.
Yeah, that was a brutal matchup, and yeah, that flying machine was just picking off the Inferno Tower every single time it came on the board, and 2 big Hog hits in.
And it's Morton's turn to play Hog EQ. I do like kind of the mind game here. You just stomped Hog EQ, and now you're gonna go bring it out yourself.
Yeah, we've seen that actually a handful of times at CR where the player plays the deck that their opponent just had prior, and I love it. I think it's, I mean, we all know how strong this Hog EQ deck is, but that matchup was really, really rough for Faye.
So Hogs up again in the opposite lane of the Dark Prince.
A very nice King Tower activation from Javi.
So no play of the Inferno Tower yet for Morton. Hasn't really needed it, obviously, with 25-34 on both towers.
Javi just cycling cards in the back, not trying to commit too much anywhere.
Although, I will say this version of Hog Earthquake is only at three wins and 5 losses. Yeah. So at a 37% win rate at the moment.
And once we get to double elixir time here, we'll most likely see Javi playing a Golem, and it's going to be a very curious to see how it matches up.
Yeah, Morton really wants to add to that lead as soon as he can. You know, he's doing a good job of keeping Javi from building enough elixir to get himself into a place to play that Golem.
Yeah, a lot of pros have kind of talked about the sweet spot that you want your towers at before you get into double elixir time, before you start your Golem pushes. Is if you can defend in single elixir and have your towers over 1,500 HP, you're doing okay.
And right now, both of them are sitting pretty, so... Oh, this Hog could change a lot. 1 shot in, 2 shots in, does not get a third, but down to 1069, and now Javi's in a bit of trouble.
Golem finally coming down in the weaker lane. He's going to play into where Morton is going to want to Hog. You see immediately switching lanes.
Giant snowball there makes a little bit of room. Doesn't get the extra value on the prediction side of it, but does make enough room to get down to 835. So the question now is, how much will Morton spend on defense here, and how much will he sell out in that right-hand lane to try to get this thing done before Javi can get to that tower?
And that Lumberjack pulled by the Ice Golem will get to the tower. It does require a lot of defense.
And there you go. So Morton does throw the Hog. The NATO does take care of it, though, down to 571. That's a fairly healthy Golem on tower. Dark Prince behind.
931 HP on that tower. Golem might should bring it below 700.
And now Morton very, very behind on Elixir, so he can't throw Hogs in the right lane. You see Javi now just throwing up some defensive options.
And now Javi needs to play strong, strong defense and figure out a way to essentially beat out this EQ and Hog cycle. Needs to get back to NATO. There it is.
Interesting choice there to go with the Hog, maybe feeling like he had an Elixir advantage, but you gotta wonder if maybe cycling back to 1 more Earthquake and Snowball would have been a good idea. So now, can this Hog get in time? Yeah. And there you go. Javi gives the good game. He's out of cycle. That is it. Morton, wow. 2 up, 2 down.
And that was just so well played by Morton. Now, Mikel 04 coming out for Fnatic is the last guy standing in the way of a Morton King of the Hill sweep. And Morton just made Javi play so off balance, so uncomfortable, always thirsting for Elixir, always happy to change lanes, and that's what you have to do when you're playing against Golem.
Well, Morton got pretty low on Elixir there for a while, but just made some very, very good choices and was able to get himself the win. He nearly did lose that left-hand tower.
Yep. Very, very close. A great fireball there to push the E-Wiz in range of the Lumberjack.
So Mikel with guards, Lumberjack, and Fireball to open up. You know, we have seen guards and Lumberjack together. Now Fireball zap. Miner to the safe spot, gets a few shots. Neither of the two excellent options for a pickup available in that moment. And now Mikel just holding, playing Sparky. So with Asuchini not in the mix here, it is Mikel bringing Sparky out. And that E-Wiz is done.
Take care of the E-Wiz. There we go. Now the best counter for Sparky is out of cycle for Morton. Trying to apply some aggression in the left-hand lane. I like the choice to completely ignore it by Mikel, and you see that great placement of the Goblin Giant off to the left, getting the Lumberjack in front, raged up, should take out that Inferno Tower, but not in time.
Goblin Giant Sparky currently is the leader in win rates across all archetypes right now at almost 78%, but only 9 plays, 10 if you count this one.
Mikel is getting a little frustrated by these miners that Morton has been playing so relentlessly.
So into double Elixir time, and so far Morton still in the lead, playing very, very conservative. You see him leaking a little bit there, waiting to see when Mikel will throw out his next Sparky.
And you see Mikel here doing the correct thing and going to his weaker tower, playing into it, and Morton as well responding by attacking the opposite lane.
One unfortunate shot for Morton from that Musketeer.
And using those bats and the miner demanded that the zap be used. However, that is not how Morton wanted to defend his Inferno Tower.
And the E-Wiz goes down. If he can get that barb off the belt, this might be a Sparky shot if he can defend it just a little bit longer.
He spent too much on defense, and that was not spent in the correct way. And that's exactly what Sparky decks do to you. You're in charge, and then all of a sudden you miss one defensive exchange. You mess it up by just a little bit, and Mikel punishes you.
A big win there to extend the life of Fnatic, but Mikel still has 2 more he has to rack up, and the first one of those, it's the Mad Scientist, OP Sam.
The Mad Scientist was 6-1 in 1v1 sets last season, 7-2 in King of the Hill. This year only showing 1 appearance in head-to-head play, falling to Flash from Cream. See the battle at the river here, trying to protect and attack that furnace.
You know, we call Sam the Mad Scientist for all the weird, crazy stuff. He was the only person last year, he was the first person last year to pull out Heal. I think first person last year to pull out Mirror. He was doing this weird, strange, unpredictable stuff and making it work.
And that does something to your opponent. It does something to their mentality. They have no idea what to expect. And that's one of the things about being a pro, being about the best in the world, is that you see a few cards come down, you're like, okay, I know what this deck is, but with OP Sam, that's usually not the case.
Royal Giant does get on tower with the E-Wiz behind.
Wow, and Lumberjack on tower as well.
Oh, wow.
That was unbelievably well played by Mikel04.
But to be fair, there is a lot coming down the opposite lane right now. Lumberjack is going to rage all of that up. Baby Dragon might be in the mix here, but he has to be very, very careful on defense.
Yeah, you see that Bar Barrel coming in to stop that raged up.
And it's on tower!
And wow, burn, burn, baby. This is an even game.
That was a wild 60 seconds. Mikel just blasted that tower, but the only problem, he didn't have to deal with what Sam had in store going back the other direction.
Yeah, you saw Mikel only having enough elixir to roll out a bar barrel, which is not the best response when you've got all those units raged up like that. Made quick work of it, and honestly was almost a waste of elixir at that point.
So Inferno Dragon way in the back again. E-Wiz out of the way. Will he defend the Inferno Dragon here? Well, choosing to let it go.
Does do a bit to that furnace. Lumberjacks meet at the bridge. Lightning comes in.
That Lumberjack got pretty clean on that Royal Giant. If he can defend here just another second, might be able to prevent all the shots. Yes, he does. Sam picks up the Lumberjack as well. So good defense, although now Mikel putting pressure on.
Yeah, that raged up Mega Minion will make this Mega Minion from Sam basically ignorable.
Mikel does have 2 big King of the Hill wins before this match against Diego E and Jose Brayan in their loss to Cream.
Guards come down to take care of that E-Wiz. Barbarell comes in to stop it. Once again, Lumberjack on Lumberjack, but Mikel's prevails this time. And a good-sized push coming in here for Mikel.
Yeah, he's got a significant elixir advantage right now, all the way up at max. RG's in the back. He'll have plenty of time to build up support behind this.
Another furnace should be coming down anytime.
Mikel might be new to CRL, but does have a top finish on ladder back in 2018, not to mention his #2 finish at the Honor Cup last year as well.
Now Lumberjack demands that the Tombstone be dropped, which then rages up the Royal Giant and is on tower. Look at that.
Really nasty on the 646. So Sam in trouble, all sorts of trouble right now. Behind on Elixir, behind on towers. But if this Inferno Dragon get and beautiful timing on the RG, just not gonna let anything else get there.
That Inferno Dragon did a little bit more than Mikel would have liked, but that Royal Giant still gets a shot on the tower.
Wow. Wow.
Lightning, not enough. Gonna have to cycle around twice, but he will most likely place an RG maybe in the pocket.
There it is. RG in the pocket.
And a great tombstone from Sam. We all saw it coming, but it is not gonna be enough. Look
Lightning
at
gonna
that.
come in. Could the guards go for a block here? So guards come in. Mikel knew that was coming, and you can see the look on Sam's face. He knows that Mikel saw that way ahead. Lightning comes in. Mikel 0-4 takes out 2. 1 more to go. You know, to the North American audience, Mikel might not be as familiar, but does have experience in SLO over across the pond. So has played competitively against very, very good players, and showing that he's worth being in CRL West today, taking out Morton and OP Sam. One more, though, a tough out here in Soking.
Yeah, Soking has been playing lights out. Clash Royale here, not being taken down yet in the King of the Hill set. He did, however, fall to Lindsay in the 1v1 set in their prior match.
So both players taking their time.
An early Lightning comes in and a very, very aggressive Lumberjack push with the Royal Giant here. Going to be met by a lot of Swarm troops, though.
Guess he saw he had the Elixir advantage and wanted to press it, but doesn't turn out quite as he would have liked. Still with Elixir advantage is Mikel.
And you see the shake of the head coming from Mikel, knowing, I maybe should not have done that. Night Witch, a card we haven't seen a ton here. Used to always be coupled with the Golem. We started seeing it coupled with the Giant a little bit more lately in the meta and in Grand Challenges, but basically she's kind of faded into the darkness right now in the current meta.
And goes Golem opposite lane, does Soking. Right into that 1093 he's already got it down to.
And you have to imagine his last card was most likely a NATO, seeing the Ice Wizard and the Baby Dragon.
And Mikel trying to punish here.
Lumberjack down on that Golem. You see Soking just completely abandoning the Golem, which is a great decision. It will still get to tower. And Soking is just playing picture perfect right now.
Yeah, that's going to be a tower down to 51, so no worries on the right-hand side.
Lumberjack does get to tower, though. That is going to be a few big swings in.
And now easy, just Golem into the same lane as the RG wants to push. Mikel's going to either have to go straight for gold or go opposite lane. Chooses to go right into the Golem.
That Tombstone has been so effective for Soking this game.
Soking using the NATO a little less than I would have expected.
Yeah.
In these first few exchanges.
Yeah, that tower does go down, and there is no Golem counter push coming, so Mikel does a very good job of evening up this game.
So Soking now will probably Golem in the same lane. There you go. So it's the 3 crown versus the Princess Tower. This match just changed drastically.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more. That is a very, very surprising defense that fell flat for Soking. And a great fireball coming in for Mikel 0-4.
This time the Golem pushes the Royal Giant back, but again, Soking too little Elixir to get his NATO in play. It has really been a non-factor so far in a match where you would think maybe it would come in more.
Yeah, very, very surprising. Maybe NATOing back just to preserve the health of the Tombstone a little bit longer because the Skeletons will distract the Lumberjack. Who knows? I mean, Soking is obviously a top-tier player, but he seems to be really struggling with his defense in this game.
So after losing so much HP on the right-hand tower to open up, it looked like Mikel was going to fall just short, but right now, he's in a great spot. Ewa's in the pocket, gets a shot. Royal Giant not going to get a shot this time.
It does get
one.
Oh
my gosh, it does!
One very big shot, and there it is. The second Royal Giant in the pocket. Nothing to catch it. Tombstone comes at second late. Does pick it up, however.
I just don't know how Soking battles back from this situation.
Honestly, I don't think there's any way that he does, and Mikel04 is about to do, I think, what was the unthinkable for most of us in sweeping Morton, Sam, and Soking, and a big sweep over SK Gaming. Golem in the pocket, it's too little, too late. Royal Giant at the river. Tombstone should come down. 2 shots in.
Needs to get NATO on that. Needs to get NATO on that. There you go. Just in time. No, the Royal Giant gets a shot. That is going to be it. Fireball will come in. You see the look of frustration on Soking's face. Mikel, CO4 with the big sweep over SK Gaming.
Soking couldn't believe it. Mikel couldn't believe it. We can't believe it. This is an amazing, amazing moment for Fnatic. Wow, those 3 boys right there have brought it home with no doubt the coaching of Asuchidi for Mikel on that Gob Giant Sparky deck. Just an unbelievable day for Fnatic. Wow.
Fantastic play by Mikel04. Up against the wall, goes through 3 big superstars, plays beautifully, makes some great choices, goes to his favorite deck, the Goblin Giant Sparky, plays it beautifully, gets the big win, steals it from Morton, and from that it was just all water going downhill.
Yeah, and one thing that I really hope we get to find out is we have not seen Asuchini on the battlefield, but we've seen him in spirit with great Goblin Giant Sparky plays. I want to know what he's been telling these boys because Mikel is playing it flawlessly.
It has been great, and of course, we're gonna go down to the floor to speak with our victors. Let's join Pau with Fnatic.
All right, I got Mikel and Jose representing Fnatic. Congratulations. I'm so excited to talk to you because, I mean, you just went up against one of the biggest contenders here in CR. How did you keep your composure?
Bien, yo sé que SK junto con Energy creo que son los mejores 2 versus 2 que hay ahora y confío, hemos estado entrenando guay y sin más, guay.
Okay, he said that he thinks SK is one of the best 2v2 rosters in this league. He trained so hard with Faye and he's happy that he was able to beat them.
All right, training with Faye, there we go. Well, talk to me about that long bait, that graveyard deck in that 2v2.
Dice que le expliques el porqué del mazo de cementerio con pillos y así como lockbait. ¿Por qué jugarlo?
Pues ese mazo lo estuvimos entrenando básicamente para counterear lavas y todo tipo de beatdowns. Si no llevan muchos hechizos, o sea, ganas fácil. Y como nos han jugado lava al principio, pues hemos dicho, irá bien y hemos ganado.
He said that this deck was just for countering lava and any kind of beatdown. So as they played lava, the first one, they thought they will repeat and they just changed it to that deck. So it was an easy win after it, just because of the matchup.
There it is. Well, I want to know for my final question, that reverse sweep, you kept your composure with King of the Hill. I want to know what are those feelings like when in those moments for you?
Que en el King of the Hill, tras empezar 2-0, ¿cómo te sientes y cómo mantuviste la presión para acabar haciendo el reverse sweep y cómo te sentiste después de hacerlo?
Bien, ¿no? Porque yo hasta ahora he tenido presión bastante porque no estaba dando los resultados que se esperaban. Y bien, o sea, cuando he ido tercero, hemos perdido 2-0, luego venía el 1 contra 1 que estaba Javi, he pensado en eso, he estado tranquilo y he jugado normal, sin más.
He said that before he was not having the results he wanted to have and the result that everyone expected from him. But at this moment, doing this was really good for him and he was thinking like, okay, if I lose, Javi's in the 1v1, so he was just feeling relaxed and play as he knows, and that's what he did.
Well, GG's, man, congratulations. Well, we are now gonna get that amazing breakdown, so we're gonna send it over to the desk.
Thanks, Pau. Mikel with a great showing today. Of course, he's already been #1 in the world, had experience in SLO, but blinked a bit his first time under the big lights. But I think all of that is gone now. He is comfortable. He played great today.
Yes, I mean, you heard it in the interview. Composure was everything. Going against those huge names in the business, he just had it. And losing that tower early to Soking, somehow able to bounce back and then put the pressure on, incredible.
And of course, a great call with that deck choice in 2v2 to go against Lava. And we'll see what kind of calls are made coming up next. It's Complexity against Dignitas. Coming up next, Complexity versus Dignitas. Dignitas, and of course Complexity with a bit of a stumble out the gate, but since then, they have been playing with fury. The 2v2 looks great, but more importantly, the play of Vulcan has been astounding.
My goodness, the play of Vulcan has been out of this world, and Dignitas now needing to fight their way out of last place, and Complexity is a great team to show that you've got it, to belong here at CRL.
That would be certainly a tough out, a big out for Dignitas in this situation. Of course, Complexity, we've talked about it a lot, a great 2v2 duo, and then adding Vulcan and AirSurfer in, giving themselves so much more depth in the head-to-head play. Dignitas opened up the season very nicely with the win over Tribe, but since then has stumbled to against Liquid, Queso, and Energy.
Yeah, and you know, Complexity here coming off of a big win over Team Queso. Kuchiku and Dark Angel came out against Colton and Razor, who you see right here on your screen. We got Adrian, Piedra, Razor, AirSurfer, Colton, and of course the man you were just speaking on, Vulcan, who had a lights-out performance in their last match.
I mean, he's been playing great. I asked Twitter this week who they want to see in a BO5 from CRL West, and Vulcan was, without question, the #1 name that came back in. Across from him, though, the boys in the black and yellow, the young man Blaze, Frost, Oxalate, Tilted Eddie, and PT105.
2v2 coming your way.
So the big question here is, can Eddie and Blaze not only outplay their opponents, but bring anything that Colton and Razor haven't seen hundreds of times in their reps together?
Yeah, I mean, they have been practicing together relentlessly, religiously for over a year now. And again, last season, one of the premier 2v2 duos out there, just barely missing World Finals.
And there you go. Miner goes one tile outside to open, caught by the guards either way.
Lava Hound comes down for Complexity. Double Lava.
Lava both directions. Dark Prince picking up the Lumberjack. Inferno Tower easily handling that first push.
Mega Minion played up high to catch the Dark Prince. NATO to assist, and a very nice, clean defense played by Dignitas. And a second late on the drop there. That is a slight miscommunication or a communication error that you'd think Complexity would not make.
Well, it looks like Blaze was short on Elixir. You saw him kind of purse his lips at that drop, so that might have been his play that was a second short. We haven't mentioned this yet, but the new logos of Complexity, the Dallas Cowboy tie-in, color change, logo change.
Big fan.
Yeah,
big
they
fan.
look great. And then, of course, Dig made a big shift over the offseason as well.
Poison comes in, Miner Poison in, trying to get a lot of value. Lumberjack not actually in the Poison, now is.
So a decent push here from Dig, and now not much separating these two teams as we approach double Elixir time.
Yeah. So far showing that they can hang with the best, only 50 HP behind.
Complexity up by about 2 Elixir overall. And now they go to Lava the opposite lane.
Interesting. And Dignitas follows suit.
And a second Lava Hound from Complexity, and the same thing from Dignitas. So very interesting. You know, we have seen the doubling up on your big, heavy push, having some challenges here, and at the moment, it looks like Complexity possibly getting the better of this exchange.
And an interesting NATO there, you recognize it is to pull the units, the DPS units, off of the Lava Hound. However, it does allow a decent amount of damage to get in on that bottom right-hand tower.
Wow, yeah, so now you have Dignitas ahead by nearly 500 HP, and they Lava up again.
And this is going to be a tough one to defend. That Lumberjack should just make that Inferno Tower, just chop it right down.
Totally disappeared. NATO in trying to mitigate some of this push. It does get the pups far enough away that they don't get on tower. Poison does come down now.
Yep, giving another good value Poison to Dignitas. Playing very, very well, playing ahead of Complexity at the moment.
Prince just barely connects. So the battle taking place entirely on the right-hand side now.
I think guards are going to come down. There they are.
Miner to the back of the tower. Lumberjack has to go back there, but another Lumberjack comes in from the top. That tornado, Snowball comes in just in time to keep the Lumberjack off tower, but down to 708. Now Dignitas very, very close to stealing game number 1.
Yeah, Complexity not able to keep up, not being able to put together a strong offense. You've noticed every single time here, Dignitas is able to play strong defense and create a big counter push, and they've also been winning the battles at the river.
But now you see Dig slowing down a little bit here, maybe realizing they were behind on Elixir.
Skeletons played in the middle, maybe to pull the Prince, but end up not really.
And the defensive Miner does not pick up the Miner to the inside, down to 307. So here we go, we're in a bit of a tower race. Up at the top, it is Complexity trying to get on tower down to 457. The poison comes in. Dig is gonna take game number 1 here against Complexity. What a way to start off this match.
Call it what you want, beginner's luck maybe, but that was masterfully played by Dignitas. And I'm telling you right now, no one on Complexity's roster knows what just hit him.
Well, I mean, you really can't call that matchup because it was basically the same deck on both directions.
I know. The battles at the river went towards Dignitas, the placement of their units. They just took better care of their DPS units and focused their fire on the DPS units of Complexity. And wow, I'm so impressed.
Something kind of annoyed Razor there at the opening, so I wonder what that might have been. Interesting choice, Dig going back to Lava Hound one more time. You gotta wonder if Colton and Razor kind of put them on this deck. That Prince does not connect, guards come down in time.
A few baby dragon belches in on that left-hand tower.
Some easy, cheap defense.
Complexity goes to Lava Hound as well.
So here we go, guys. Let's run it back.
Wednesday was Graveyards. Today is Lava Hounds. Previously, it was Royal Giants.
It's almost like they're all thinking in the same mind. So this time the double lava is completely going to opposite sides.
And very early on with the double lava pushes. Skeletons in to distract that Mega Minion. Now Complexities will prevail.
A lot of damage in the left-hand lane from the double lavas of Dignitas. And while still doing some good work on the right-hand side, Complexity not getting quite as much out of it, although these final lava pups doing some significant damage of their own.
Yep, there we go. Now only about 300 HP behind. Both teams have a Mega Minion and Baby Dragon coming down the lane. Couple belches in from both.
Entering double elixir time, Andrew, this is not the match I don't think anyone expected in 2v2.
No, not at all, Rich. And honestly, Dignitas is playing so well right now. Colton and Razor, it's as if they're going up against one of the most seasoned duos in the league.
And Nice going inside to, I guess, not even one of the 3 most popular spots, 169 down, so assuming that they have poison. Left-hand tower down for Complexity, of course. Looks like that right-hand tower about to fall for Dignitas as well. So we're going to be extending this game a little bit longer, folks.
Miner comes in. Complexity does end up having it picked up. Dignitas doing a good job of keeping more damage off that left-hand tower. They are technically in the lead if they take down the left-hand tower. Or, I mean, excuse me, technically behind.
So Dig choosing to go Miner this time, just get that tower down rather than spend a bunch of energy on spells.
And I like the Complexity ignored the Miner. It's not worth trying to pick up at that point. It's only 2 hits in. There's so many spots to pick from.
So here we go, 600-ish, 700 HP, separating these two teams. We are in sudden death overtime.
And that high lava ended up protecting the Mega Minion. And then the high Mega Minion from Dignitas was not placed correctly, so that the Lava Hound actually pulled aggro, and now Complexity's Mega Minion still on the board.
Attempted defensive Miner pickup goes to the front. Instead, Complexity's Miner went to the back.
And if Complexity keeps the pressure up, Dignitas's counter pushes are going to keep coming towards the King Tower, going towards the 3 Crown as opposed to the weaker tower on the right. And so now you see they can just, they're going to drop a Lava Hound up front and use this counter push, create a bigger potential to take that tower. Because Dignitas is playing Complexity's ball game at this moment.
And the lightning gets in front of the
Lumberjack
Prince.
in.
Beautiful, beautiful timing on that lightning from Complexity. Stopped the Prince from picking up the Lumberjack. That is game in the books. We're going to number 3.
So Double Lava in game 1 goes to Dignitas. Double Lava in game 2 to Complexity. Now we'll see if they just stick with the same or switch it up.
Yeah, do they go back to the well one more time? We've seen essentially the same game twice. Eddie and Blaze got ahead early on the first time around. Razor and Colton controlled that second one, so they're going Lava. So do Eddie and Blaze go Lava a third time?
Remind me to thank them for answering my question so quickly later, Rich.
Yeah, and here we go.
And there we are, Double Lava and the clone. There's the switch up.
Very interesting.
That snowball plus NATO made that clone completely insignificant. However, look at that Lumberjack on the tower.
Lumberjack and with the Carnage
wow.
behind it. This is a ton of damage down to 699.
You saw the clone playing early. Usually when it's played that early, you're like, okay, I think I know exactly how to defend this. You saw them, they threw the snowball, they threw the NATO, but Dignitas did not let up, and wow, that was an amazing first assault.
And that's 3 miners in a row that Dig has sent to that inside low spot. So gotta expect maybe the next one will go somewhere else, and Complexity trying to catch that next time it comes in.
Yes, and at some point, ideally, Complexity would be able to activate their King Tower with a snowball as opposed to a NATO in that spot. But Dignitas is doing a great job of throwing in that miner after the snowball's out of cycle.
So Double Lava right-hand lane now. You gotta expect that they're looking for that clone defense potentially.
Another clone comes in.
A very early, very strange clone this time.
Not doing what they wanted there at all.
NATO pulls it all together. There's a miner just going to town on the bottom right. Lumberjack down too.
That is going to be tower down. That defense was not played well. An early and aggressive and honestly misplayed clone. It did not catch the units that it needed to, and it made very, very easy work and a waste of 3 elixir.
And now Dignitas in a position where they really have to put some pressure on that left-hand tower, make sure they get it down. They have 50 seconds left to not kind of essentially give this game away.
And this is where the experience of Complexity comes into play. They took a beating on the very first exchange, and now you see them bouncing back and playing perfect Clash Royale.
So miner to the exact same spot one more time, and there they go playing the snowball and the NATO, so maybe a bit of overspend to get that King Tower activation.
But still in the lead here, getting poison value on the Baby Dragon, but it will not be enough to take out that tower.
Yeah, Dignitas needs to pick things up really fast. 15 seconds left to get back in this.
And it can't be done with a spell. They cannot get back around to poison in time, I do not believe. There you see the defensive miner go in. Miner gonna go to the back of the tower.
And they went to the same spot again.
And it's picked up very well by Complexity, and that is where the experience pays off. Complexity in 3 games after falling early in the first. A very good showing, a very impressive showing from Blaze and Eddie.
This was one that Dignitas really had a hold of. They could have gone into King of the Hill with a lead in these sets.
And now they have to go into King of the Hill, a set down again. And a surprise for Complexity, Colton coming out, usually taking a seat after the 2v2 set. That means Razor will retire for the rest of the afternoon. And on the other side of it, we've got Oxalate, who has been 3-3 so far in King of the Hill, off to a really, really strong start, but struggled a bit since.
Colton making his head-to-head debut this season, went 4-8 in King of the Hill last year.
Yep, and did not play in any 1v1 sets. Although last year, if you played in 2v2, you were not allowed to play in 1v1.
Same thing this year, just the change in order.
Yes, exactly.
Oxalate's had some mixed success. Of course, he had that opening sweep that was very impressive to start the season, but since then has lost 3 games in King of the Hill.
And a big swing in from that Mega Minion to take the Furnace out of play.
So here we are, first minute down. Only a little bit of damage done thus far.
And you see the snowball coming in to push that Musketeer into range of the Princess Tower. So far, Colton playing very well, very reactive. And doing a very good job of protecting his Furnace.
Oxalate hovering there with that snowball. You can see, I like to be able to see Oxalate's work on that giant iPad there on the right-hand side. You can see a little bit of what Colton's doing on the left, but I mean, you can practically watch the game on the machine that Oxalate's playing on.
Yeah, and it's really fascinating to watch predictive plays from someone on their device, someone at this level on their device, I should say.
So, first 2 minutes down, and Oxalate finally RGs behind King Tower.
Colton hitting 10 here now, going to respond with guards in the back. Mega Minion, so he's really doubling down on defense before he tries to play his win condition. And a great bar barrel there from Oxalate, cleaning everything up in the way. And an early lightning.
And the lightning just barely misses the drop of that Furnace, and that would have been really nice to get that in the mix as well.
Yeah, I could have definitely just really put a lot of momentum in Oxalate's corner.
RG's up again.
You see him getting a little bit frustrated with those poisons.
Colton playing very patient in this opening game of King of the Hill.
Yeah, it's almost making me uneasy how patient he's playing.
And again, Lightning this time does not get the Furnace. So we're going into sudden death overtime, and things separated only by 2 HP. Poison will change that.
Poison down again, taking care of the Furnace for the most part. RGing up in the back is Oxalate.
It's amazing. This is Oxalate's, I think, 3rd or 4th Royal Giant. Colton has yet to make a significant offensive push, and they are still fairly even. Well, not anymore. After that big Royal Giant shot, another one comes in.
That Furnace in the back was ill-advised. Nothing to catch the Royal Giant. And now the Graveyard finally comes down, but it is not going to have anything to tank for it.
So a minute in, trying to get some poison value is Colton, but playing from behind. And at this point, Oxalate might just play defense, try to lightning out.
I mean, that is definitely the smarter and safer move at this point. He only has to get to 2 more lightnings, or he could do lightning and a couple snowballs.
And there you go, lightning, snowball. Needs to hit that 307 mark. Barbarians in defense, and it looks like Ox has the same idea that we did.
Yeah, and Colton, they're maybe playing a little too conservatively for the first couple minutes of this game. You understand why him recognizing the RG was in his opponent's hand, knowing you can be punished by that and the lightning. However, as we saw earlier this week, sometimes the best defense is an offense, and right there, Oxalate did not blink. Colton down, AirSurfer up.
Up next for Oxalate, it's the Expo Master himself. Well, maybe not Expo Master. Maybe he's spoken a little wrong there. It's the Expo player, AirSurfer.
Yeah, AirSurfer.
Shout out to Expo Master.
Big fan of Expo Master. AirSurfer now making his 3rd King of the Hill appearance here, his 3rd appearance period at CRL this season. So far struggling in his first 2 games, looking to find his first W.
AirSurfer playing low and fast thus far. Or sorry, Oxalate. And looks like to be minor Musky Loon, most likely.
Mega Minion demanding a snowball out of Oxalate.
So if this is RG Furnace from AirSurfer, this is one of the most debated matchups that we've seen in the community for a long time. Now, mostly it's centered around the minor Rascals Loon in the last couple of metas, but the question being, who has matchup between this Minor Loon Inferno Tower deck and the RG Furnace deck. And I guarantee you, a lot of the Twitter community right now are each on their own side yelling, oh, well, this one obviously, this one obviously.
And that Miner comes in to catch any unit that would pick up the balloon. Very nice a play there by AirSurfer, recognizing that if he were to go all in with that Lightning, Oxalate would most likely send in a balloon. And he had all the answers, not taking any damage.
So on one hand, you have the Furnace and the E-Wiz to pick up the balloon. You have Lightning to take care of the Inferno Tower when it comes down. Other hand, some people say that you can that Oxalate has the ability to out-cycle AirSurfer with the speed of this balloon deck.
All very, very valid points. However, just the Mega Minion, the Furnace, the Lightning, the E-Wiz, all these are great responses to that balloon. One belch in from the Baby Dragon on the left, and an aggressive balloon to the left as well.
Wow. And that balloon does get a drop, so that's what we're talking about. The ability to out-cycle, and now we are all, not just all tied up, Oxalate has taken a slight lead.
Yeah, and you saw the conservative defense there from AirSurfer just barely missing. And that Royal Giant is doing very well on that tower. Should get one more big hit in.
Well, the Muskie got retargeted to the Barbarian, so it's kind of a rough moment there for Oxalate. And now with 20 seconds behind, he is significantly at a loss. And with the E-Wiz down, it's going to be very difficult for Oxalate to find any way through.
Yeah, and that Miner goes right into the E-Wiz, but it's met by a Baby Dragon, Mega Minion, and of course the E-Wiz itself, and that is going to do it. AirSurfer coming out, finally getting his first win, finally building that confidence.
So a very well-played game by AirSurfer, who finally gets into the win column. You know, he's a player who is obviously top in the world when playing off the stage. And he's trying. Now the hope is this season he translates that to be just as good on stage. And if he's doing that right now, he's going to be a very, very scary player this season.
Yeah, and the difference is astronomical playing at home as opposed to these stages. I mean, even just joking around about you and I playing a game against each other on those towers, I was like, I just don't even think I want to deal with the pressure of being
even with
up
the
there.
cameras off.
Yeah, exactly. And with nothing riding on it.
And no big surprises here. Eddie playing Lava Hound.
And it looks like AirSurfer is going to be going with that very, very successful Minor Prince control deck. Finally finding its first loss the other day.
Yeah, absolutely. And that Inferno Tower is going to be super annoying for Eddie.
And the Prince does get a Lance stab in, a great snowball from AirSurfer. And that whole interaction just takes the wind out of your sails if you're Eddie.
Not to mention the 1386 on his top right tower.
Yes. Both players resetting right now. AirSurfer kind of living in the moment that he just had. Eddie trying to figure out how to bounce back.
I'm getting a little surprised by Eddie going back to Lava Hound again. He had some success with it, of course, to open up the season, but since then, you know, he has stumbled a bit.
Prince gets on the tower again. Eddie has no elixir to support his Lava Hound, and right now AirSurfer is playing perfect Clash Royale.
Eddie is ahead by about an elixir and a half at the moment, so it maybe just in that situation wanted to force out a response.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, it's
great value. Baits out the Skellies and the minions.
Lumberjack stops the Prince on the left-hand side, still survives. Will get taken down by the tower.
And this has just got to be so frustrating for Eddie. Look at that. Miner in to tank for the bats, Snowball in to get value once again on the minions, and Eddie is just playing right into every single move that AirSurfer throws at him.
And AirSurfer couldn't really be playing this any better at the moment either.
Poison is down now. This is going to be a moment for Eddie to get a couple hits in, but it's not going to be substantial.
Yeah, you really cannot ask much more from AirSurfer at this moment. Playing really clean, really calm, good decision making.
Yep. And I was just going to say that this is the moment where you're going to see AirSurfer stay away from the left-hand side and play a hard defense on the right. 288 HP on that tower, a couple snowballs, poison. If he can get a miner in again, this should be easy money for him.
Well, you gotta bet that Eddie is playing clone here, so the question is, will he get one big lava clone push? And look, that's the kind of deck that can steal this thing. Miner goes to the inside, snowball comes down, Lumberjack gets in just in time, so that does keep the tower out of poison range, but now it's in poison range.
And there it is.
And that's gonna be it, just not able to get anything together in time. AirSurfer takes game number 2 of our second game here at King of the Hill. So now it's all on the shoulders of Frost, who does currently have a winning record in King of the Hill.
Yep, and AirSurfer, smile on his face after that second win, now evening up his head-to-head record here at CRL, feeling the rhythm that he's been looking for since day one.
Frost did extend the match against Energy last time out, clutching up against Thunderstruck and Carter in King of the Hill and sending it to 1v1 where they eventually fell in that match. Want to know if he can do it again.
See Rascals and Archers.
First minute down, and it's Royal Hogs for AirSurfer.
Nice snowball, and they're going to clean up those minions that got ahead of the battle ram. Very cheap defense played by AirSurfer.
So a pretty cheap version of bridge spam by Frost, met by fairly cheap defense, as my co just mentioned for AirSurfer.
You see Frost frustrated with how that interaction went, already down to 1325 on his right-hand tower. Fireball.
AirSurfer. Oh, and Frost really upset about that play. The Prince moving right past the Ice Golem. That was not what he wanted.
No, not at all. And the luxury of the Fireball being out of cycle allowed AirSurfer to get that Rascals played in one lane, now supporting his Mortar.
So Mortar, Royal Hogs. Andrew, you had some fun playing with this in the lead up to this season.
Yep, most likely that last card is going to be a Rocket, and this is a very, very strong deck coming out for AirSurfer.
A precarious situation for Frost, needs to win 2, and so far with a minute left, not looking good at the moment.
Yeah, and he's down 3 elixirs, so the Mortar comes down for AirSurfer. AirSurfer doing a great job of not committing too much to his Mortar, knowing that it would be easy countered or at least easily taken down.
Although pretty even, still behind by 3 is Frost.
And that Rocket will hit that Prince.
Oh, that was nasty. AirSurfer taking the wind out of Frost's sails.
Yeah, that is a devastating blow to anyone. And Frost already playing from behind. That one hurts. Look at these just wonderful defensive interactions coming from AirSurfer, using the skeletons to the maximum of their ability. And now you see the defensive Mortar coming down means, hey, I'm a Rocket and some Hogs away, or a couple Rockets, you pick your poison. Oh, wow.
Bandit does get to tower. Those Hogs gonna get through. Fireball comes down. The giant snowball pushes, so now that's going to be it.
Just a Rocket and snowball away from a complexity sweep over Dignitas. And the question has to be asked, what does Dignitas need to do to get another W in their column? They've fallen now 4 times in a row after a great first showing. They've tried to switch up their 2v2, switch up their 1v1, but AirSurfer today really showing up.
That is just wonderful. You see how happy he looks, a much more comfortable player this time around. Look, he was already great coming into the last season.
Yeah. And for every other team out there, the 10 other teams that aren't on the stage, they've got to look at this and go, wow, Adrian, Piedra, and Vulcan did not even show up today, and that was a dominant display from the boys in blue. Dignitas very frustrated with their showing. I can only imagine now falling 1-4. They're starting to pull away from the pack in the worst way possible. Yeah, and you think it's got to be some of the nerves, some of the, I guess maybe their first time out is why they kept sending that miner to the same spot. Complexity had the luxury of just picking that spot going, look, they've gone here many times before, they'll probably go there again. Let's just send a Lumberjack there to pick it up. And that was honestly the deciding factor right there. It was their only chance to come back, and Complexity shut the door.
Then we get to King of the Hill, and Ox gets one, but then out comes AirSurfer firing on all cylinders. So let's go down to the floor where Pau is standing by with our winner.
All right, AirSurfer, I have to know, when your team lost in that 2v2, how did you guys come back from that?
Yeah, I was a little surprised that they switched up their lineup, but in the second game, we definitely got it down. We were using, our defense is much more effective, double lavaing, which I don't know if it was the best, but it was working. And then in the third game, we actually changed up our deck so that we got a better matchup, and we ended up beating him, so that was really good for Colton and Razor.
Can you give us some tidbits on how that even works out?
They were thinking they were going to use lava again. So the one thing I remember is they switched in mini P.E.K.K.A for Lumberjack, which might have been better to kill the miner or the Prince coming in, which they could use guards on too. So they just kind of switched up what they thought would be better.
Hey, pro tips over here. So I want to ask you, how does it feel to get that sweep here for the very first time in the CRL?
It feels awesome. The first game was actually my first win this season, so really happy, and then ended up being a sweep. So yeah, I mean, actually really happy. So yeah.
Well, congratulations. Now this is my last question. Anything you have to say to your fans with Complexity supporting you?
Well, thank you everyone for watching us. I mean, I usually see everything on Twitter, so I appreciate you guys tweeting at us and supporting us. So thank you guys.
Well, GG's, man. Well, let's hear this breakdown, so we're going to send it over to the desk.
Very well played indeed by Complexity, a cerebral team, a team that thinks a lot about what they're going to do and making small, minute, but important changes to get wins.
Yeah, Coach Kyle and Mobile Matt have been very vocal for a very long time about their studying process, their adjustment process, and seeing what they did, hearing from AirSurfer, very impressive from Colton and Razor.
Well, a very analytical duo as well. We've spoken with them off air a bunch about their thought process behind 2v2, and it paid off in spades today. And speaking of spades, he's coming up next when Tribe faces off against Team Liquid. Coming up next, Team Liquid have somewhat different stories, but the story right now is the same, which is the 2v2. Team Liquid, of course, bringing out Surgical Goblin and Canario against Immortals to fantastic effect, and then, of course, B-Rad and J Monty playing 2v2 beautifully.
Yes, they have been absolutely incredible. And what a surprise seeing Surg and Canario out in the 2v2 set, keeping everyone guessing in the 1v1. And of course, Canario with that clutch King of the Hill performance over Immortals.
I spoke with Diego off stage, and he said that people might overlook Canario and Surg as a 2v2 duo, but that he believes they are just as good as he and BoufMac.
Look, and I'm not ashamed to admit, I was one of them. I did not expect Canario and Surg to come out together. I did not expect them to play as well as they did, despite them being some of the best in the world. And look here on the floor, we got all smiles from the coaches, but on the backside of it, we've got all the players in their zone. Tommy and Canario rounding out the backsides of both of the lineups. Very, very excited to see if they go head to head.
So for Team Liquid, you have Surgical Goblin, Diego B, BoufMac, and Canario. Interested to see which squad they bring out in the 2v2 this time. And facing off against Tribe, an important fact about Tribe, B-Rad and J Monty currently undefeated at 4-0 in 2v2 sets.
Yeah, unbelievable. There they are on the far left, 8-1 in games. B-Rad and J Monty, followed up by Tommy, Spades, Nitram, and their coaches, Mad Rider and Elky. Who will come out in the 2v2 set? Will it be Diego and Bouf going up against B-Rad and J Monty, or Canario and Surgical? We will find out in just a moment.
So here we go, kicking things off, Tribe Gaming and Team Liquid. Taking the towers for Team Liquid, it is Diego and BoufMac facing off against B-Rad and J Monty, so no big surprises here.
Yeah, shocking that they are 8-1, not because they're not good enough to be, because clearly they are, but more so just because of the level of competition in 2v2 and the fact that they've been able to maintain relatively a perfect record.
Yeah, losing a single game with the way the season looks so far. Remember, it's not like they have gone through an easy path to that to that record at the point, because they've gone through Fnatic, through Pain, through Immortals.
Yeah, that's crazy. So we see Poison coming down, Baby Dragons, of course, Giant Skeleton at the top of your screen. A lot of the same that we're used to seeing in 2v2. A Graveyard, though.
Poison easily responds to the Graveyard.
Nothing there to catch the Baby Dragon. A late NATO comes in.
And you see the oops coming out from Tribe. J Monty unhappy with that moment.
Yeah, a big oops. That's a lot of Baby Dragon belches in.
1477, people don't know this, the original plan for Columbus's voyage across the Atlantic. Had to wait a little bit longer than that.
Just a little.
That's a date I totally made up. Here we go, Graveyard down one more time.
That Baby Dragon from Tribe played high and picked off by the Musketeer of Liquid, and now that tower down below 1,000 HP.
Nasty freeze NATO combination for Team Liquid. Diego and BoufMac playing like the squad we know they are.
And an Ice Spirit there to mitigate all the damage. Not necessary, but better safe than sorry.
Entering into double elixir time. Diego and Bouf almost perfect at this stage in the game. And this might be some of the best that we've seen Graveyard play. Now again, it is against Graveyard as well.
Skeleton's not quite getting to the tower. Musketeer and Ice Wizard there to meet them. A very high Inferno tower to slow down that Baby Dragon.
And being able to get those troops in front of the Inferno tower, very, very nice.
Yeah, notice Liquid playing that Giant Skeleton directly into the tower, looking for only its bomb.
And a solid push left-hand lane now for Tribe.
Yep. And Tribe, Baby Dragon on the tower again. Tribe opting to ignore most of the defense on the right-hand side, trying to go all in on the bottom left. Will they get it? That miss? Yes, they will.
Here we go into sudden death overtime. You see Diego wiping his brow. Probably thought they could get away with that one. Did not, and now this is all tied up. In fact, Tribe a little bit ahead.
Now very, very curious to see how these teams will play with opposing towers still alive, not being able to create the counter push that you're looking for, and Graveyard behind.
Inferno tower down. Will keep that Giant Skeleton very far away from doing anything significant.
But that bomb may hit the Baby Dragon. It does not. Hits the Musketeer.
Splitting the Dark Princes is Tribe.
You see Liquid prepping for a push. Tribe recognizes and immediately places a second Inferno tower down.
And the Log trying to knock the Ice Wiz out of range so the Baby Dragon can take out the Inferno tower. Does get some chip damage, but not much else.
Both teams playing very aggressive offense and stellar defense. Almost no damage done on either of their towers.
It's going to be interesting to see how they pull off getting a Graveyard freeze on tower, because you know they're gonna most likely be trying to freeze both the Princess Tower and the King Tower, taking those cannons out of play. But that also means you can put your defense on the far side of the Princess Tower.
Yep. Yeah, going to be very tough to pick and choose where to use the freeze. Do you freeze the Inferno, the Princess, the King? Which do you pick from? Only most likely being able to grab 2 of the 3. And so a big push here for Liquid.
So we might see the first answer to that question. Poison high, though, from Tribe to play defense.
Yeah, very nice poison from Tribe. And look at that. Despite all the coming down the lane on the left-hand side, not a tick of damage was dealt until that one Baby Dragon belch.
So this one has draw written all over it. Unlikely that either team will find a way through, and you got to imagine that Team Liquid very frustrated to give up that tower in the waning seconds of the regulation time.
Yeah, and a very impressive showing from Tribe, being able to sacrifice their right-hand tower, conserve just a bit of elixir, go all in on the left, and push this game to a draw that looked like it was lost very early on.
So will someone go for a desperation double graveyard free, try to steal this thing in the final seconds? So it would be a big gamble.
And there you see Tribe just putting up the Inferno Tower, ready to go back to the drawing board. Same with Liquid. Come back in game number 2. A draw to end game number 1 between Diego B and BoufMac from Team Liquid, and of course B-Rad and J Monty from Tribe.
Game 1, a complete stalemate. Going further into game number 2, wonder if any changes will be made. Do we see the graveyard decks come out one more time, or will someone make a bit of a shift?
Yeah, I mean, Diego and BoufMac may stick with what they had since they got that game stolen from them, or that tie stolen from them at the very last seconds of regulation. And just to remind those at home, if this is a draw, then game 3 is lowest single tower.
If this is a draw. If and only if. So might be graveyard again from Liquid.
See the high Inferno Tower there from Tribe, kind of expecting graveyard. Keeping anything they can from crossing the river.
And could be the same from Tribe again as well.
And there is the graveyard. That giant skeleton needs to get pulled back. However, their giant skeleton, Tribe's giant skeleton, is distracted by the skellies from the graveyard.
Stuck way inside.
A lot more spent on defense than they would have liked.
So first exchange goes to Team Liquid. Wonder if they will keep the pace on. Graveyard number 2 comes down. Here we go.
And the Ice Wizard does stay alive, so very well played there from Team Liquid to conserve its HP.
And that log dies just short of the Ice Wiz, so this is going to be a little bit more damage.
Ooh, and look at that, a big Mega Minion swinging on the tower.
And it is Graveyard again from Tribe Gaming.
So both teams thinking they can run back what they had in the previous game, but with better execution. And right now, Team Liquid is doing just that. But this is how the last game started as well. Team Liquid was off to a pretty good start, a commanding lead throughout. And then at the very last moments of regulation, Tribe popped back in.
Well, that's what Graveyard will do to you, Andrew. It'll let you think that you got everything under control, and then one time it gets away from you, and bye-bye tower.
Yeah, and those freezes just really, really compile that damage.
And Giant Skeleton does not get across the river for Tribe, so leaving that graveyard push all by its lonesome trying to pull something off.
And that Musketeer and Mega Minion will stay alive. Could be a good moment to go opposite lane. There we go.
Liquid pouring it on right now. In a good spot, Freeze comes down. That graveyard requiring a little bit more elixir spent.
Skelly's on the tower for Liquid.
Left-hand tower down to 745 for Tribe Gaming. We're going to sudden death overtime. At the moment, Team Liquid playing pretty much perfect.
Musketeer placed high to pull that Dark Prince over. Nothing else there to aggro it, however.
Poison down on defense for Liquid. Even with the Dark Prince picking up the Princess shots.
And there you see a nice high Skelly to keep those baby dragons from crossing the river once again. Nothing down yet. There we go.
So pretty decent sequence here from Liquid on defense. They still eat a lot of damage, though.
And one baby dragon bounce brings that tower below 1,500 HP.
And now Graveyard Freeze for Liquid. Oh, that's a lot. Skeletons on tower down to 242.
That is going to do it. A log and a poison will send Tribe well, I guess to game 3.
To game 3 now. Game number 1 was a tie. Here we go. Liquid with 1 in hand. We're heading to game 3.
So Liquid taking game number 2. We now move into game number 3. If Tribe wins this, we will go to a game 4.
So the question is, will we see Graveyard again? We just saw double lava back to back to back, and so far Tribe answering no to that question, unless for some reason they're playing Miner Graveyard.
Yeah, maybe we'll see some spell cycling. Who knows? We've seen a lot of different combinations with the Miner. Could be Lava Hound, could be Spell Cycle.
It's interesting how 2 squads might get caught sort of in a rhythm, as we just saw in our last match with Complexity and Dignitas doing double Lava Hound 3 games in a row.
Yeah, and I don't really love that, to be honest. I like to see some variation, at least keep your opponents guessing. But a lot of people say, well, we played it 3 times in a row because no one thought we'd play it 3 times in a row, so we are keeping them guessing. To each their own.
And Liquid going with that logic, bringing out the Graveyard one more time. They probably feel like they did a great job winning the first game, within the first game, but barely gave it away. Won game number 2, why not go to the well a 3rd time? And with a game in hand, a loss here isn't devastating.
And nice job protecting that Dark Goblin with the Skeletons. Does go down with the Ice Wizard. The Dark Goblin is a great response to Graveyard, being able to play it behind the King Tower and still pick off those Skeletons from a Graveyard while avoiding the freeze.
Freeze coming in for Team Liquid doesn't pay off too much. And then on the other end, Miner picked up by the Ice Wiz.
Yeah, I think we've seen maybe 3 Miners already from Tribe. Not much success coming from them.
Yeah, Liquid knows where that Miner's going every time. And so far, no other significant offense mounted in conjunction with the Miner.
Yep. Maybe we'll start to see Spell Cycle now. And there's the Dark Goblin in the back, as you can see. However, it does work its way up a little higher than I bet Tribe would have liked. Now in freeze range, but it's a little bit late for that. There's the rocket. The naked rocket goes down on the tower, something we're not used to seeing.
Very interesting choice there by Tribe.
Yeah, and a very aggressive play, and now you see Baby Dragons, double Baby Dragons on that tower because they were splashing the Mega Minion. Mega Minion finally moves away.
We've seen the Miner rocket play together. You know, you throw the Miner, then throw the rocket immediately to hit whatever troops pick up the Miner, the naked rocket, and then the Miner a few seconds behind. Very, very interesting call there from Tribe.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to finally get some damage in on the tower. I mean, they are technically in the lead. Miner comes down. Freeze also comes down for Liquid. Miner gets there before the Skellies.
Log does a nice job, and then Baby Dragon, Mega Minion picking up the support troops, and now we'll see, again, so here's the problem, is they're picking up that Miner with the Dark Prince. You can't rocket a Dark Prince when its shield is still up.
Right. I believe there's only 1 Dark Prince. Yes, there is only 1 Dark Prince on the field for Liquid, so now would be the time to Miner rocket, knowing that it needs to be picked up by a card that does not have a shield.
So we'll see if B-Rad and J Monty are thinking the same way as you, Andrew. Their next Miner probably coming fairly soon.
Oh, and look at that NATO.
No.
A horribly misclicked NATO from J Monty and B-Rad. That could be the game right there.
3 Elixir down the drain, and there you have the Miner comes in. No rocket behind. They have to, at this point, if that was their plan, now that plan is gone because they have to get back some Elixir so they can play defense.
And now these teams are basically tied up. Team Liquid still a little behind. Miner back in, going to the back of the tower this time.
And look at, well, I mean, they know the Monato's on a cycle, so fine playing that. And look at this giant skeleton to the tower on the right-hand side.
One more hit, that is gonna do it. Tribe just stole this set from Liquid. Unbelievable. You look at Diego and BoufMac, they can't believe it. I can't believe it. The audience can't believe it. Wow. And it's hard not to love that guy on the left, J Monty, doing his victory dance. We are going to game 4.
This is it, game 4 of 2v2, and as a reminder, we are now in tiebreaker rules, so no towers have to fall. I wonder what changes that might make to how and what they play in this 4th and final game.
I mean, both of the games that Tribe kind of came back and won were in moments that were just shocking to us, Liquid, the crowd here. The Giant Skeleton getting to the tower almost feels like it's always going to be a miscommunication when that happens. And then the first game getting that tower down in the final seconds of regulation play, just Tribe hanging on. They will not go away.
And Tribe takes a big first shot with that RG down in 1942.
Liquid's got the Lava on the board. And we're going Royal Giant from Tribe.
So Tribe Lava's up inside. You can see, gonna be easy to pick up that Inferno or that Lava Hound.
Maybe, no lightning comes down, just a minor to the Dark Goblin.
And there you go, easy NATO. And you
that,
see BoufMac shaking his head there.
Yeah, and that is a big King Tower activation. Liquid should have played in the safe spot. Now those pups are gonna do infinitely less damage with the King Tower activated.
I mean, I see what he was trying to do, getting after the Dark Goblin there, but you just have to know that that push wasn't going to result in the damage you wanted.
Yeah. And a big Giant Skelly Royal Giant push coming in for Liquid, or excuse me, against Liquid.
So a lot spent there that doesn't quite go all the way for Liquid. Of course, getting that tower down to 1726 is still nice.
And being even in Elixir, that 300 HP deficit does hurt. Little 3-for-3 trade there.
Going for a sneaky Dark Goblin. Although this isn't 1v1, you're not going to pull that off anywhere near as frequently.
Yeah.
All right, Lumberjack getting through this time. Let's see what Liquid can do. Nope, perfectly cleaned up.
Yeah, and you look at the spells in hand by Tribe. They've got Poison, NATO, Lightning, Snowball, and Log. So if this becomes a spell cycle battle, which it is lowest single tower, they definitely have the edge in spells.
By a significant margin. And you see now being sure to get some tower damage and clearing out those support troops in the back.
And a Lightning now coming down, so we're actually looking at the same spells minus a Log for Liquid.
Another RG, Lightning should be coming down here. There we go, Lightning does hit.
Big Lightning. Less than 800 HP on Team Liquid's tower.
And Tribe is just being certain every single time they play a spell to get tower damage.
Yeah, you need to get that value. It is so imperative in these lowest single tower games. That Lumberjack does come down and stops the... Oh, no, Royal Giant will get a shot in.
Down to 474. That was an important shot because now they really are in spell range.
And a Lightning will do it. There we go. Tribe never giving up, bouncing back over and over and over. And now they go to 5-0 in 2v2 sets. By far and away, the best 2v2 record here at CRL.
That was really, really amazing. I mean, it looked over and over again like Liquid might have their number, but Tribe, they used their experience, their understanding, and again, we talked about it a lot in that game, the continued use of spells on the opponent's side.
King of the Hill, Team Liquid down one set, coming now.
If you want to get back in things, that's a heck of a way to do it for Tribe Gaming, and now they go into King of the Hill with a little bit of a cushion, and you know, they're up against a very difficult lineup, but they have some all-stars themselves. So let's get into it. King of the Hill opening up for Team Liquid, Surgical Goblin, and Tommy opening up for Tribe.
Surgical 3-1 in King of the Hill. Tommy on the other side of it, 4-4. So almost twice, I mean, literally twice as many games played by Tommy. Surge opening up right away with the Mortar.
Skeleton will stop the charge, nice and easy. And Mortar does get a shot on tower, and You know, Andrew, you're obviously a Mortar player, talk about a lot, but you get two shots out of a Mortar on tower, you feel like that's probably, it's done its job.
Yeah, especially a first Mortar, and when you see the Skeletons and a Mortar, immediately you know we're going to see Rocket, we're going to see Rascals, we're going to see Royal Hogs. All these units go very, very well in that deck. And from Tommy, we see Giant Double Prince.
Giant Double Prince, which started the season off really, really hot, has now dropped to a 50-50 win rate.
This is not a good position for Surg to be in. That is tower down.
Might be jumping up that win rate a little bit here.
Wow, and Surg calls good game already. Tommy playing so calculated. Surg is not having enough in the tank. And I think the moment that this was kind of lost for Surg was when he sent in those Royal Hogs. He defended so well with that Rascal Mortar combination, but sending in the Hogs was just a little bit of an overcommit.
And now you can see he's behind by about a mile, both on towers and Elixir. And pretty much, it's all elementary at this point, Watson.
Yeah, when you have that devastating of a start, going up against Giant Double Prince, playing Mortar, there's almost no way. And that Prince just seemed to never go down. Wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Surg is still making an effort on this one, throws the Mortar down, but he also knows this one's over at this stage.
Yeah, 930 HP. I mean, Tommy could legitimately just spell cycle out his King Tower by the end of this game if he really wanted to.
Well, that becomes an interesting question. You know, obviously the win is the most important factor, but if we do go further and further down the tiebreaker list, right? So set differential is your next tiebreaker, then game differential. Total crowns is in the tiebreaker list, so do you actually care about getting that third crown, or do you believe it's so far down the list this doesn't matter?
And I truly believe you should care, because the way that playoffs are set, it's not round robin, it's not a bracket system. It is a gauntlet system. So you want to be as high up in the standings as you can possibly be when we get to that final week. And a 3 crown helps.
And so here you have Surg saying, you're not getting that from me. You might get the win, you're not getting those 2 extra crowns. But that is it. Tommy takes out Surgical Goblin in game number 1 of King of the Hill.
Tommy making Surgical Goblin look like easy money, which is a very difficult thing to do. Now he has Canario in his way, who just came off of a King of the Hill victory over Lapa and Royal.
I mean, that giant triple spell deck was a pretty hard counter for what Surg was playing, but also Tommy played it very, very well in the same situation.
Yeah, a couple small misplays there by Surg, and Tommy playing a hard counter to perfection is just a rough day for Team Liquid. And look at that, preserving the health of his Dart Goblin with that log. And now Tommy looking like he might be playing Mortar.
And nice poison value on the back end. And there you have it. You called it right, Andrew. Mortar coming up. So here we are, first minute down. It is Mortar Miner with some nice little bait aspects for you.
And no Elixir in hand to pick up that Dart Goblin. You can see the frustration on Canario's face. You know, earlier in the season, I'd mentioned that I liked playing the Minion Horde version. But after seeing the success of this one at CRL so much, I've switched over to it. And the cycle on it is so hard to keep up with. The cards do so much damage with the bats, or the Spear Goblin, or excuse me, or the Goblin Gang, or the Dart Goblin coupled with the Miner. It's such a cheap and incredibly powerful push.
So we'll see if this Lava Miner can get things back as we get deeper into the game. We're about 24, 23 seconds away from double Elixir time.
And that Mortar will take out the tower. If it does not, yep, there we go. Baby Dragon does come in. And now Canario is putting together a very nice push.
I mean, he really could take a tower in this moment. The Prince comes in defensively. Fireball, beautifully timed.
And look at that. That Dark Goblin just sitting back and making easy work out of all the DPS troops coming across the river.
The Miner just a little bit late to get in and tank for the Baby Dragon to get a little more damage. So now Tommy is just going to push on that left-hand lane, take advantage of the fact that Canario needs to get this right-hand tower down.
Yeah, and not having a log, knowing he could just play that Rascals up high, not wanting to commit a poison there as well.
Ugh. Oh, this is just brutal.
Yeah, that is a lot of damage in. Now here's a moment for Canario to catch up. Another
good poison. You
great
see,
poison.
Tommy does not like that. He knows he just got caught.
Yeah, he definitely gave up a very substantial lead by I think he committed a little too hard in the left-hand lane, but that does give him about a 400 HP lead on that tower.
This game changes drastically now, though, with both playing into the same lane. No way for Tommy to put pressure away.
All those units are poisonable. That is a great value poison right there if it does come down. Nothing there to get on top of the Baby Dragon. Tommy now really hurting. Baby Dragon will get on tower. Distracted by the bats. Very well played.
You know, Canario's just sitting on that Dark Prince for the Mortar one more time.
And the very high Rascals. I love that play to preserve the health of the Dark Goblin. Now demanding that the poison be played high.
Miner to the back. Morton does get one shot off.
And it catches the Dark Goblin. Tommy knows that that was perfectly played. And look at that.
Baby Dragon gets turned around. Miner on the tower. We are so close. Fireball uncycled down to 205.
Lava Hound in the pocket. Nothing there to get. Got to pick up those guards. A Miner cannot get picked up by Canario. Canario misses the pickup. And Tommy takes the game in a nail biter. Canario down, Surgical down, BoufMac coming up next.
So what opened up today, Andrew, looking like Team Liquid was going to run away with things in 2v2, turned into a 4-game reverse sweep, and now Tommy's close to making it 5 games in a row to close out the boys in blue.
Yeah, wow. All I can say is wow about Tribe Gaming today. They are unrelenting. They never gave up in that 2v2 set, which, as you said, just looked like it was not going to go their way numerous times. And now BoufMac is the only man standing in the way between Tommy and a King of the Hill sweep over Liquid.
Look, BoufMac is completely capable of
he
going
is.
3 in a row right now, but it's not an easy 3 in a row.
No. No, it is not. Tommy already putting up the pressure, going to meet that Inferno Tower with his Battle Ram.
So Miner Muskloon for BoufMac. Tommy running the Prince version of Bridge Spam.
Bandit will demand a response. Skeleton's a great positive elixir trade for it. And a Musky Ice Golem to meet another Musky Ice Golem.
Pretty classic. Put the little snowy fella in front of your Musketeer.
That will pop that Bar Barrel.
That's a couple defensive miners now out of BoufMac.
Yep, 5 spent for 5 there, so still doing okay. Not sure how I feel about that Snowball.
Snowball almost in some ways worked out for Tommy.
Yeah. Look at those minions right on the tower. BoufMac playing very, very solid defense, but 2 elixir behind.
So here we are, first 2 minutes down. Not much has taken place so far, and we do see the first balloon push. Miner going to the front. Prince doesn't get up to its charge.
And you see that Prince going to the back, expecting the Miner to go to the back. And a great Bandit from Tommy. Wow.
And the Bandit does not get picked up by the Bar Barrel. That's a big dash in a lowest tower situation.
And the minions are not on the tower, once again picked up by BoufMac.
That's the benefit of this low cycle Miner balloon deck. You having the skeletons and Ice Golem in there, you're able to get out, and not to mention the Bar Barrel and Snowball, able to get around just a little bit faster than that Miner Rascal's Loon. Final 10 seconds.
Barbarian there pulling the Knight backwards. Prince, excuse me.
So here we go, sudden death overtime. Currently Tommy in the lead. Decides to get fireball value on the tower and Musketeer rather than worry about trying to blast through with that battle ram. Probably a smart choice here from the Nicaraguan.
Nice pickup there with the Prince. And now we got dual lane pressure here coming from Tommy. This time the minions are tanked for and will get a couple hits in.
And another defensive miner for BoufMac. He's making the right call, doing what he can to protect, but time is running short to mount your offense.
And those minions played a little higher than Tommy would have liked. They still get the balloon down before a drop.
Death damage will help. 2 minutes left, though, in sudden death overtime.
Bandit coming down a hair late.
And Tommy right now totally happy to keep playing that battle ram and letting the Inferno Tower pick it up. He's spending 4, making his opponent spend 5.
Exactly. Those negative elixir trades are something that is kind of crippling BoufMac in this game.
This is a big push in the right-hand lane. Fireball in, Giant Snowball maybe in as well.
No elixir for the Inferno Tower. That will connect.
Unbelievable. Tommy gets beautiful play on both ends. Offense hits, defense plays well. Right now he is in the groove.
Yeah, this is just high-level gameplay from both of these gentlemen. And now the balloon may get a drop.
And nice work by the minions to push the balloon into Musketeer range.
Unbelievable plays coming from Tommy. BoufMac now at 634 HP in that bottom left-hand tower with only a minute remaining. And the battle ram connects. That is gonna do it. Tommy, count it. 1, 2, and 3. Surgical Goblin, Canario, and BoufMac. And you look at Jay Monty celebrating, knowing it was our 2v2 set that set the momentum for this match. And wow, I could not be more impressed by Tribe Gaming. You look at who they've lost to and you look at who they've beat, and Tribe is a #1 contender. Again, 5 sets of 2v2 have gone their way. You just saw Tommy show us why. He is the Nicaraguan Ninja, sweeping 3 of the best in the world.
Surg, Canario, and BoufMac back to back to back. That's no easy task pulled off by Tommy. And remember, keep in mind that for our Season 1 split playoffs, half our teams, the top 6, all end up making it. Of course, as you mentioned, where you landed that top 6 dictates how difficult that road's gonna be. But at this stage right now, I don't see any reason why Tribe wouldn't make those top 6.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. And honestly, Tommy is got to be a huge threat to everyone in the league.
Let's head down to the floor and check in with our winners.
Tommy, congratulations on that win, putting Tribe Gaming on the map. Now, I gotta ask you, out of all these 2v2 teams, here in the CRL, do you think anyone has what it takes to take you out?
Actually, there's only one 2v2 duo that can defeat Brad and Monty, and that's Natram and Tommy. No one else.
All right, well, you heard it here. Obviously, you're one of the most versatile players. And, there's no more bans here. How are you able to, how does that help you?
¿Cómo te ayuda el hecho de que no hay bans y como vos tenés muchos mazos, cómo te ayuda a la hora de elegirlos y de competir?
En verdad, los bans a mí, por ejemplo, me fastidian más que nada. Porque yo puedo jugar cualquier cosa, o al menos a mí me gusta jugar cualquier cosa, no estoy solamente con un arquetipo. O sea que si me hacen un ban de mortero, por ejemplo, yo soy pro de mortero, ahí sí me afecta, pero como no soy jugador de solo mortero, pues no me afecta en nada. Y pues para preparar mis mazos simplemente digo qué viene bien y pues escojo lo que yo quiera, básicamente.
He basically said that since he has so many decks and he's not a one trick that could be affected by one ban, like Mortar if you're a Mortar Pro or something like that, he's fine with the fact that there are no bans and he can pick the deck that he wants against the rival he plays.
Well, I know having this win is a big deal. Is there anything you'd like to say to the tribe community out there watching right now?
Pues que muchísimas gracias por todo el apoyo. Espero que sigan viendo CRL, ya que sin ustedes CRL no existiera básicamente, y pues espero que les esté gustando, perdón, y que vayan a ver la próxima CRL también.
He said, thank you very much for helping us and supporting us, and keep watching CRL, because CRL wouldn't exist without all the fans and all the people watching at the houses.
That's right. Well said. Well, I can't wait to hear this breakdown, so let's send it over to the desk.
A very interesting point there from Tommy about the lack of ban situation. You know, if you are a player who has a limited deck pool, the bans really affect you heavily. For him having a seemingly unlimited deck pool, they really don't matter to him whatsoever.
Yeah, he gets to play against his matchup and pick and choose precisely as to his opponent, which I love. And I also love the response that the only people that can beat them are Nitram and Spades.
Nitram and Spades, two guys who we want to see more of course.
Yeah.
But for now, it's Tribe Gaming taking a big win, but we are not done. Let's get into our final match of the day. Take a look on these faces because we are so pumped for the final match of the day. What an unbelievable match between two top teams. A battle for first place between Immortals and Pain Gaming.
Yeah, both teams 3-1, dominating in their 2v2 sets. Although we have Oddcrap and the GodRF coming off of a 2v2 set sweep over them. And on the other side of it, you have Surg TS and Renan Kava, who have been 75% with the RG deck in 2v2.
Of course, both these squads have had certain players step up. Lapa coming out swinging last time for Immortals, swinging hips, swinging fists, swinging those decks around. And of course, Wen, who was 50-50 last season in CRL Latin America, this season coming out just firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, what a way to close out the day. This is going to be a barn burner of a match, and you can tell by the look on these guys' faces that they can feel the excitement, they can feel the pressure. Everyone wants to be in first place, and one of these teams will be at the end of the day.
So heading to the left side of your screen, in front of the blue tower, it's last season's North American champions, Immortals. Big smile on Trainer Luis's face because he knows he has confidence in these boys. Lapa, the new breakout star. Royal, the Golem Master, and Oddcrap and the GodRF, the 2v2 duo who can dance a storm around you.
And on the other side of it, you have Pain Gaming. As I said before, Surg TS and Renan Kava have been doing work in that 2v2 set. But do not forget about their knockout 1v1 superstars, Wen and Carnage. Today is a big day for both of these squads. You know that every single one of these sets is going to be a bloodbath.
It's time for the main event of the evening. Let's get to it. Immortals versus Pain Gaming.
I am so very excited to see what decks these four players come out with. Again, knowing that Renan and Surg have had so much success with the Royal Giant deck, you'd think that they're going to very much shy away from it, knowing that Oddcrap and the GodRF will set up for that and will counter it.
We will certainly see what these boys have in store in 2v2.
Log cycle to start game.
We did see open up the day with that nice counter played with the Skelly Bell Graveyard deck up against Lava.
It's always frustrating when you go to cycle a log, or your opponent goes to cycle a log, and you drop something right into it. Lightning comes in early, takes that Baby Dragon down. Lumberjack does get on tower.
It's a big opening lead here for Pain Gaming.
Yeah, you can see that Oddcrap and the GodRF were not happy with how that went. And again, the relentless push. Lumberjack up front meets another Lumberjack. That will rage up this RG to get at least 2 shots in.
That's a huge opening minute for Pain Gaming, out to a massive over 1,000 HP lead.
And look at that Ice Spirit, just value on value on value. A 2 elixir lead by Pain Gaming at the moment.
It's been all defense out of Immortals so far to open this day. Looking to hopefully get into the offensive half of the field.
Lava Hound comes down.
Crap and RF haven't played Lava Hound, I don't believe, yet this season.
No, I do not believe so. Inferno Tower up high for Pain. Should completely negate that Lava Hound. That raged up Mega Minion is getting a ton of value. And another Royal Giant coming in. And here is the question that Crap and the GodRF have to be asking themselves is, how on earth do I keep up with this relentless push from Pain and actually create a counter push? And here is that counter push we're talking about.
Ice Spirit just barely saves from that Dark Knight, or Dark Prince getting a shot at the tower. Does do some damage to the Ice Wizard in the back, but a nice returning blow from Immortals.
Yeah, that Ice Spirit being played up high in the center of their side of the map. Pain has continued to distract the Dark Princes coming across the river. And at some moment, you got to wonder if Immortals is going to try and predict it. But if you predict and miss, it's a huge waste of Elixir on a 1 Elixir card.
That NATO play just hasn't quite done the job on the Royal Giant yet. It's been Pain Gaming doing excellent choices, excellent work to clean out the defensive troops and get just enough room for those Royal Giant shots. Lightning comes down. Game number 1 goes to the Brazilians.
That is now 3 games in a row that Crap and the GodRF have fallen short. And again, Renan, KOTH, and Surg TS just doing work with the Royal Giants in 2v2. Their rotation with it is unbelievable, unmatched. The synergy they have is just so impressive.
It's not just 3 games, Andrew, going back to their loss against Liquid as well.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy. I mean, you look at people that are idolized as 2v2 All-Stars really, really struggling to find their rhythm this season.
Ice Wiz slows down the Dark Prince, but not enough to stop him getting on tower.
Crap leaking a few Elixir, or a couple Elixir, trying to figure out where he wants to go. Royal Giant comes in again for Pain.
Much cleaner defense this time on the Royal Giant push.
And now that they have the Giant Skeleton in their hands or in their decks, it's going to help a lot with these pushes that are coming in.
Miner picked up very easily by the Lumberjack.
Great timing there with the Lumberjack and Royal Giant once again.
There you go. This was much better NATO play, and also a much better job of keeping their defensive troops alive to actually chunk down that Royal Giant when it gets across.
Dark Prince connects to the tower, and you called it perfectly. I mean, the NATO came in just a second later and was played a little bit higher, and it completely mitigated all the damage coming in from that Royal Giant, which is, as you saw in the last game, it was something they just could not figure out.
Another easy pickup. Yeah, last game, you know, the hard part was that they would play the Inferno on one Royal Giant and then get beat by the second one. This time seems that they have a better plan to deal with the second one when it comes down.
Yeah, and this is where you think that, okay, they're just going to keep playing Royal Giant. Why wouldn't they? They've been almost flawless with it. We've got to counter it. We've got to counter it hard. So we've got NATO, we've got Snowball, we've got Log, Inferno Tower, the Giant Skeleton there to clean up the DPS troops, and a great big bomb there from the Giant Skeleton to take out that Lumberjack.
That was really fortuitous timing, and you saw Crap kind of nod at himself when he over the last defensive sequence, and then getting very, very nice a sequence of events there with the Giant Skeleton Bomb taking out that Lumberjack, not having to deal with it with any more Elixir.
Yeah, missing a little bit of their poison value there just because the Baby Dragon was raged up from Pain, but still getting some chip damage on that tower and taking out the Ice Wizard. Fireball comes in. You'd think with the pre-Fireball they might send the Miner inside to pick up any troops that were going to pick up the Miner and hit the Inferno Tower, but, you know, not the end of the world.
This RG handily dealt with, although Immortals has to be careful. They are pretty low on Elixir right now compared to their opponents.
Miner comes in again. Poison down. Great poison value there. That should even up their Elixir.
And there you go. Miner to the number 3 spot on the inside, getting a lot of swings. Ice Spirit to help. Fireball comes in, down to 541. Immortals in a great spot as we enter sudden death overtime.
And now a team that looked like they just didn't have it together in the first game is making Pain Gaming look like they don't know what's happening here in the second.
Double Royal Giant push, kind of a desperation move, it seems, from Pain.
And pretty easily cleaned up. One shot comes in, rocket down. We just need a log to send this one to game number 3. Snowball will do too.
We're all tied up.
And there you have Crap and the God RF making a huge adjustment in game number 2 to push this to the last game of our first set.
This is a big one, of course. Like I said before, Andrew, I believe these two squads are going to go all the way to the 1v1 set, to our third and final set. But, of course, a win here would make them feel a lot better.
Yeah, and that adjustment that they made, I really loved it. They went back to kind of a minor spell cycle deck, which is honestly a deck that we thought we were going to see a lot more here in 2v2, but really has only been played maybe 3 or 4 times.
And then you have the defensive adjustment, being able to recover from the Royal Giant encountering the first Inferno Tower, the only Inferno Tower, and to be able to still pick up the second Royal Giant.
Yeah, doing a much better job with their tornadoes in that last game, really kind of dropping them a little bit later and a little bit higher up, allowing for the maximum damage to come in on the RG.
Graveyard Freeze comes in with a Giant Skeleton, and they ate a fair bit of damage, but prevented what could have been much worse. You can see AC a little bit frustrated with that situation.
Yeah, and Pain Gaming allowing the Musketeer to get through from Immortals, taking 2 shots on that right tower, kind of narrowing the gap just a little.
Second Graveyard down for Pain.
And those units are both freezable with the Princess Tower, but Freeze not in hand or just not wanting to pull the trigger.
Well, looking at what I think that Surge's deck has played so far, Freeze probably still not back in cycle as the 4th card played.
Yep, just not sure if Pennant Kava has it or not.
The double Graveyard, very aggressive now. And again, notice how they're not dropping them at the same time. They're cycling them.
And a NATO on King Tower there. Maybe, and you can see, Crap, hands on his forehead. That was definitely a misplay.
Heading to double Elixir time. At the moment, it's Pain in control of the action.
Giant Skeletons both dropped in the back.
Musketeer behind the Giant Skeleton. Fireball in, very well-timed Fireball. Musketeer does survive.
Mega Minion in. Baby Dragon dropped just in time to defend. Very, very nice play there by Immortals.
And now you see Log down, raged up Royal Giant.
Lightning comes in, cleans up those troops. But that Royal Giant is not going to break through, and a nice log to get some chip on the tower as well.
And you can see just not much in cycle to deal with this last Graveyard push. Down to 575 as the left-hand tower of Immortals.
And one big skeleton hit did come in on that last Graveyard push. And the naked Graveyard, you can assume a freeze will most likely come down. Instead, they go for the poison, getting a lot of value. And then the freeze. That is going to do it.
Very, very nice timing from Pain Gaming. They take 2v2. We're headed to King of the Hill.
You see the frustration on Crap's face there. Just things not going their way.
Well, right from the beginning, they fell behind just a little bit, and Pain Gaming just took advantage and kept the pressure on, and you were never able to see Immortals really get their offensive rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, that second game looked great, but now they have King of the Hill coming up. Immortals versus Pain Gaming.
Game number 1, King of the Hill, and take a look at this, making his head-to-head debut in this season. It's Crap, who has got to be fired up, wants to get one back to open up this set.
Yeah, you got to think this is him coming out for blood after that 2v2 set. A lot of frustration on his face. On the tower, thinking this is the moment where he really wants to establish himself and also just get one back.
In the off-season, he played a lot of really interesting off-meta decks. He did also play a decent amount of Expo, and here we go, see Hog EQ.
And that Hog will get a swing in. Hunter comes down a little late. And a great skeleton surround by Aw Crap there to slow down that Dark Prince. Stop it entirely, excuse me.
Very, very nice work from Aw Crap. Yeah, he looks like he's playing angry right now.
I love it. I truly do. This is great.
Another, looks like it might be two, just one hog swing, but ahead now is the first minute down. You see Renan and Kava kind of go, okay, all right, you got me. And again, defense nice and clean.
And both guys resetting at this moment, trying to figure out how to break through. Aw Crap has two big swings from his Hog Rider in on that tower, but it's nothing that Kava can't make up right away.
And has not gone to his Inferno Tower yet on defense, so Aw Crap does have that option. He sees the Battle Ram behind and immediately goes opposite lane.
And that Battle Ram won't connect. Very, very well played. Doing a good job keeping his Inferno Tower healthy. A great job.
So entering double elixir time so far, Aw Crap in control, but not by a lot, and it is 3M Ram.
And now with the Three Musketeers coming down, this is a moment of, we're just going to have to see how this exchange goes, knowing that Aw Crap does not have a large spell in his deck.
This is going to be a real challenge to deal with for Aw Crap as we get deeper and deeper into this matchup.
So far playing very, very well on that left-hand side. A lot of defense being played. Not a lot of elixir for the right-hand side, however. That Musketeer does lock.
Of course, we opened up the day with that 3M Royal Hogs deck up against Hog EQ, and that spread the field even more and gave Faye a lot of trouble.
Big 4 shots in on that right-hand tower from the Musketeer. That Dark Prince needs to be stopped, but still connects to the tower. That splash damage can be so frustrating. Kava playing very well right now.
Yeah, another shot off on the right-hand side down to 10-21, and another set of Musketeers. They just will not stop coming.
An Earthquake is a tough spell to use on the Musketeers, knowing that the damage is pretty minimal. Double bar barrel comes down the right side. And a lot to deal with on the left, and only 4 elixir to do it.
Does take one shot from the Musketeer, but does decently well with that. But again, 3 Musketeers are close at hand. The Hunter snowball combination, wow, beautiful defense on the right by Kava, and AC acknowledges that. The way the snowball bounced that hog right back into the Hunter shot.
Yeah, very, very well played by Kava, making sure to mitigate 100% of the damage coming down from that Hog Rider. And at this point, it does feel like it's just going to be slow and steady to win the race, but I do not know how Aw Crap is going to be able to get this. The Battle Ram is not aggroed by the Inferno Tower. That Dark Prince splash damage should get on the tower as well, and those 2 Musketeers are locked.
And there you go, down to 147. So very, very close to being done here is AC. You see the frustration on his face.
And he will get 2 or 3 hog swings in here, but at this point it does not really matter.
And even if he does sell out on the right-hand side on defense, look at this left-hand side, that dual lane pressure. So devastating. And Dark Prince goes to the archers and hits the tower as well. 1 down, Renan Kava with the win.
And that's the second time today we've seen that Hog EQ deck really struggle with 3 Musketeers. Not having a big spell makes it, basically when you get in double overtime or double elixir, you're done, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, certain decks have really benefited from the no big spell that's sort of been a part of the meta the last few months. Pump Bow being one of them.
I was just gonna say, let's hear all about Pump Bow.
It's been a nice couple months for me. Let's put it that way.
Magic Archer comes down. You see that the Bar Barrel has to be played to stop the Magic Archer that would have connected to the tower had the Musketeer just walked towards it.
Haven't seen a ton of Magic Archer this season, so this has been an interesting day. Seeing some 3M, some Magic Archer.
Yeah, it feels like we're kind of taking a trip back in time. Even the Flying Machine.
Zappies, fascinating. Kind of makes me feel Graveyard, but then you have the Magic Archer and the Bandit.
Ooh, and a slight miss on that snowball. I guess it still does help those Zappies along.
This is a fascinating King of the Hill so far, deck-wise.
Yeah, and that is a great Magic Archer placement.
Ooh, yeah, a lot of geometry there, and it is Royal Hogs, so some Fireball bait out for Royal.
And look at those barbs coming in to clean up the Hogs that do still do a decent amount of damage.
So I wonder if Renan Kava is running Royal Hogs as well, I was about to say.
And barbs as well to meet them. Great job here. Very, very interesting King of the Hill game.
So you're talking about trip down memory lane, and now we're seeing Magic Archer Royal Hogs coming back. Of course, a little more traditional, or a little more current Fireball bait out of Royal.
And now we'll have to see whether or not this poison is the big difference maker, being a large spell. Royal is on the tower. Renan Kava has nothing to respond. That is going to be a huge amount of damage. We are now within poison range. Just got caught looking.
Yeah, well, Royal's gonna have to get on tower, obviously, with just the giant snowball. But expect him maybe to start now splitting lane pressure. There you go, Barb split in the back, so as they get closer, we'll see the Hog split up front. What an interesting day of Clash Royale this has already been.
Now you see Renan Kava forced to split the Zappies here to slow down that Barb and not take too much damage on the right-hand side, assuming that he can take that bottom left tower from Royal.
And those Zappies don't even get a shot off there, picked apart by the Flying Machine and the Musketeer.
And as you said, Rich, Royal only having the snowball there, getting some good value in. Was mixing spells for a moment.
So poison down, this will certainly be helpful. Those Hogs are gonna get some shots on the tower, snowball into help, down to 815, 788, under 700 hit points. That was a big, big push for Renan Kava, and keep in mind that, again, the fact that his opponent cannot get directly on tower really opens the door for him to steal this game.
Yeah, and knowing that the Barbs are gonna be the best response every single time to those Hogs, the poison will come down again and get just an insane amount of value.
You gotta expect the Hogs here. He's gotta make a push. Royal can seal this. There we go, Hogs come in, giant snowball behind potentially.
Just enough HP on those Barbs to tank for a second, and tower should go down. Royal takes this from Renan Kava, one down for each team.
So one down for Royal, who played that very well, especially holding on near the end to get that victory. But up next, a guy who's so confident this season, it's Carnage.
Yeah, Royal there looked like he had run into a wall at the worst possible time, not having a great amount of direct spell damage, but was able to break through at the very end. Very well played by Renan Kava, but now Carnage is up for Pain Gaming.
And Carnage looking a little spammy here to open things up.
We see a Lumberjack. Obviously could be many different archetypes, but everyone knows Golem is Royal's favorite.
So possibly Goblin Giant Sparky here with these two opening cards. There we go.
And a big push on the right lane.
The second that Sparky fell, but very nicely defended. He'll eat a little bit of damage, but not as much as Carnage would have liked. Okay. Maybe I spoke too soon.
Wow, 1,000 damage in on that right-hand tower. And now we have a Lumberjack coming in looking to rage up this Sparky. Wow, that was a great interaction for Royal. Lumberjack on the tower. And so Carnage, oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, so the E-Wiz will take care of that easily, but now Royal gets one back. It looked like Carnage had really taken control and punished Royal pretty heavily.
And you see the mental games that plays to Carnage, very frustrated with that interaction.
And Royal certainly ahead on Elixir right now by a fair margin. And mirroring the same push he opened up with on the right-hand side. This time, nothing gets through.
Yep. Not letting that happen again. Royal Ghost will do a great job cleaning up this Lumberjack and creating a counter push.
Yeah, he has to play those guards. That Royal Ghost will get at least one shot, probably two. They got all the way through.
Now we got Sparky against P.E.K.K.A. You can imagine this is probably when we're going to finally see the Giant come down, but he has to pay attention to this right-hand lane.
Yeah, smart move by Carnage, putting pressure on this side, and now I don't know if the Goblin Giant will make it down in time. He has to play the guards instead.
Great use of the guards there. Slow down the P.E.K.K.A., block the E-Wiz.
And now you might see the Goblin Giant come after this shot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's preserved almost 100% of the health on that Sparky. A very, really great set of interactions for Royal, and Carnage knows it.
And the Lumberjack gets the E-Wiz off the board just in time to get that Sparky to save its shot. So goes instead at the P.E.K.K.A. And now it's just desperation mode from Carnage, playing what he can, but the dash avoids the Sparky shot.
A very nicely placed Bandit there, which looked like it was about to take the tower. The Sparky was basically useless at that point.
I mean, even if the Bandit had absorbed the shot, that would have been at least valuable, but dashing, not taking the damage at all. And now you see Royal playing both lanes.
Yep. Seeing the Sparky come down in the right-hand lane, not a good place to play as Goblin Giant. And now the Goblin Giant will get on the tower, will get a bunch of hits in. This was a very nice swerve by Royal.
And look at that, guards just in time to pick up the P.E.K.K.A. So a good change of pace from the Romanian.
A very healthy Sparky in the right-hand lane. Maybe going to meet a Bandit once again. Goblin Giant might get a hit in. There we go. And Carnage just playing up against the ropes right now.
He does have quite a bit on the board, though, so Royal does have to respond now in both lanes.
Carnage going all in on the right. Someone's got to catch that Bandit.
Beautiful, beautiful. That Goblin Giant played nearly at the edge, probably right at the edge of that Bandit's range. It really feels like who's the first to make a mistake. Now remember, we are in lowest single tower here in King of the Hill, so if things stay as they are, Royal would take the victory. But one slip from either player could be the difference. And here you go,
what
P.E.K.K.A.
we have on the ground,
side.
There's the Goblin Giant. That P.E.K.K.A. got dangerously close, and this is a moment for Carnage to keep the pressure up.
And Bandit gonna dash through. That Bandit dash might be really, really big news because now Royal has to play both lanes with even more care. E was on the left-hand side getting on tower.
And there is no snowball to catch these minions. Barb on the tower. Minion's going to take out the Skellies.
Oh my word. Carnage just took this thing in control. Bandit dash on the tower. This is it.
Really, really tough for Royal right now. He's still just barely in the game, although Zap should be able to come back around. Not enough to take out the tower.
It's just one more poison for Carnage, so Royal has to sell out here. Carnage knows Royal has to sell out here.
A nice guard surround there on the Royal Giant, or Royal Ghost, excuse me.
Just not gonna happen. Poison will be down, that's gonna be it. Carnage takes the third game of King of the Hill. Very, very well played to come from behind.
And now Lapa back out for Immortals, trying to do not the impossible, but he's got to take down Carnage and Wen just to get to set number 3.
Well, we did just see him take out B-Rad, Tommy, and Nitram, so, you know, if there's anybody who can do it with a young, relatively inexperienced for competitive play, but I mean, he's been through the fire already.
Yeah, and you can see here he's just playing it slow in the beginning, leaking a few elixir.
Most likely Hog EQ here from Carnage. Not going to see a Valkyrie once we see those skeletons, or most likely won't.
Barbs come down to meet that Hog. And a high Inferno Tower actually catches the Barbs before the Flying Machine. The Flying Machine will just pick that apart and then still demand a response in the right-hand lane.
So Lapa going with this Fireball bait deck that Royal used so well earlier.
And look at that. Very well played.
The Ice Golem saves that tower from being eviscerated by the flying machine, but still, that's a ton of damage. Carnage just choosing to reset and eat it, knowing that there's not much he can do at this point.
Yeah, and also the idea that there probably isn't a big spell in Lapa KOTH's deck. He may be able to, or in his mind, he's thinking, maybe I can play solid defense and win this game somehow, but that was a really rough start.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. Hog EQ up against Fireball Bait, but again, Hog EQ doesn't have a big spell, not one that works for these cards.
Yeah, definitely. Again, a great job using those bats to distract the Inferno Tower from getting on the flying machine.
And Lapa KOTH goes all in on the right-hand side with just the straight Royal Hogs push. Doesn't get a lot out of it, but he doesn't need a lot at this stage. Lumberjack handles the Hog Rider fairly easily in the left-hand lane.
And still gets to swing it on the tower. So now we have Lapa KOTH in the lead in both lanes, and Carnage struggling to find a way to break through.
Barbs don't mount much of a counter push, but able to get in front of the Musketeer. Doesn't quite save from the Inferno Tower. Giant Snowball comes in to get the bats off the board, but one stays alive long enough. Question is, does Lapa KOTH continue to sell out in the right-hand lane, or does he start splitting his Hogs now?
Yeah, that is a very good question. Try to create dual lane pressure to get Carnage off his kilter to then, in theory, break through in the right-hand lane. As you can see here, Carnage just holding all of his elixir for defense, strictly for defense, kind of holding off on his hog pushes for the moment.
Well, and Lapa KOTH is not playing very aggressive either right now, and I do like that decision. A lot of maturity here from the young man. He knows that he can just play this one out. He's got such a significant lead. As long as he makes no serious mistakes, this game is his.
Yep. He doesn't care about taking the tower. He knows that that lowest single tower will save him at the end of this 2 minutes and 40 seconds of overtime. If he can break through, he can. If not, he'd rather just play solid defense. And Carnage knows it, so he's just going to double, triple, quadruple down on defense.
Well, Carnage knows he has to pick up the pace here, so you see the Barbs just waiting and ready. Earthquake trying to help with the Giant Snowball in as well.
They just threw everything he had at him and did not break through again.
2 minutes left in sudden death overtime. Lapa KOTH looking in control. Could make this very interesting. And we might get what I wanted, that Lapa KOTH Wen matchup for Game 5.
Yeah, that will be a crazy match. And then most likely the winner, if you know, Lapa KOTH does win that set, we could even see a rematch in the final set.
Well, a lot of ground to be covered as of yet, Andrew. Still a minute 42 remaining in sudden death.
Snowball comes in, does get the Barbs away, and they are focused on the Ice Golem. I really like that play by Carnage.
And here we go. This time you see Lapa KOTH saying, all right, you're going to start breaking through. I'll put a little more pressure on. And then we'll get a couple Hogs to escape. This might be tower down here. Snowball in.
And that tower is below 100 HP. We are going to Snowball cycle this out. Just needs 2 more. And Lapa KOTH will be pushing this to game number 5. Pain Gaming will bring out Wen. Immortals is still riding on Lapa KOTH.
It's so great to see this kid coming out and playing like this on this stage. Has to be careful, though. He just did sell out pretty heavily. Barbs do come down.
And that Hog will not get to the tower.
So a little aggressive there.
You see Lapa KOTH getting annoyed. The annoyed Goblin not being able to break through. Hogs come down once again. Snowball maybe to follow.
One Hog escapes.
Oh,
that's going to be it. Lapa KOTH put it away. We are going to game number 5. So here we go, game number 5. Ask and you shall receive. The 2 young stars, Lapa KOTH facing off against Wen.
And everything riding on this game to decide the match, essentially. Immortals has to take this to set number 3.
And looking like Lapa might be going back to the well one more time.
And we've all seen that even though people might know he's playing it, they still cannot stop him. There's the high mortar, one of my favorite plays when playing against Hog Rider.
So here we go. Can Lapa pull out magic one more time?
And a really, really great use of the skeletons there by Wen to distract the mortar.
So the first time we're seeing Hog Rider so far this season, not in the Hog EQ deck. And you see Lapa kind of tilt his head there. Hog Electro Dragon?
Yeah, very interesting.
Expecting maybe a NATO in there with the Ice Wiz and the Tombstone.
Yeah, this is one of those decks that maybe Wen and his team just was like, all right, Lapacati's probably going to play Mortar. And then you see right there, the NATO and Lapacati's like, what is this deck?
So it's Hog EQ, NATO, Ice Wiz, Tombstone with E-Drag.
And
sure.
That is a straight up snipe on Lapacati's deck. He's sitting there, how do I break through? Where do I place my mortar? I got to save it for defense, but I also need to create offensive push. You got the E-Drag there that just destroys the charge and all the swarm troops. Fascinating deck.
I mean, this will be the big question is, you know, Lapacati knows every matchup. He doesn't know this matchup. I mean, look, is it humanly possible he's played against this? Maybe.
Wow.
Is it likely? I think not.
And it's still another Hog Rider hit in, but Lapacati just only 56 HP behind.
And Wen chooses to, rather than activate King Tower, he chooses to haul back the Spear Goblins with the Tornado.
And now maybe Lapacati can create some bit of pressure with that minion horde with NATO out of cycle, but the cycle of Wen's deck is so quick, it's already back in.
This is really, really nutty. And now Wen throwing out some crying skeletons. I mean, this is what we talked about, Andrew, you and I, that the idea of, you know, do you go for a snipe on Lapacati in these tight situations and believe that he is playing his mortar bait deck? And what kind of risk is that? And at the moment, it looks like it was a really, really smart call here by Payne.
Yeah, really, really paying off for Payne. The snowball does come in. That Hog will not get a hit. Very well played defense by Lapacati. Just how is he going to break through? That Tombstone catches the Miner. The skeletons from the Tombstone stop the Prince charge. The NATO brings the minion horde together. Just all the answers in Wen's deck.
This is really, really wild. And now you see Lapacati, rather than focus on the defense because he knows that Earthquake is in there, he's like, let me see if I can use these mortars to create some offensive pressure.
And that Hog Rider is going to get...
Wow, it does get a
hit.
swing. Oh, was that no swing?
The Earthquake, I believe.
Mortar's back up again.
Mortar distracted by those skeletons. Hog Rider played in the center.
Goblin Gang bats. Will Miner go to the left-hand side here? No, not going to happen now with that Barbaro coming out, taking out the Goblin Gang.
This is an incredible game of like a battle of wits, if you will, right now.
Well, a battle of wits for Wen and now a battle of will for Lapacati. Can he just by pure force of his skill, knowing this deck, as you said, the wits, but also can he just believe he can beat this deck?
Every time he does stop that Hog Rider, the Earthquake is still doing a devastating amount of damage.
And that Miner just not getting shots on tower. Giant Snowball and the Goblin Gang take care of the Hog Rider.
Lapacati is still playing this very, very well, but Wen just has all the answers. Earthquake comes down, stops the Spear Goblins, and now he's basically got double the HP on his right-hand tower.
And so now you see Lapacati going Prince into the lane he wants when he knows he's behind. At this point, he can't be content playing defense. He has to steal this thing.
Miner goes in, gonna get caught by the Tombstone Skellies again.
And this time, high mortar to pick up the Hog. Bats will keep it from off the tower.
You see right there, Lapacati shaking his head, just no way to break through.
45 seconds left. Wen in a position to secure first place for Pain Gaming. Lapa trying to find a way. Tornado nearly gets that tower open for Wen. The snowball just saves it.
Naked Earthquake on that left-hand tower. 30 seconds left of gameplay. Wen has got this in the bag as long as he keeps up what he's doing. And now Lapa sells out in the left-hand lane.
Tornado pulls all that into the middle, and that Prince is not going to go back towards that tower now. It is stuck in the center. There you have it. Wen,
Wow.
playing like a champion, takes down Lapa. Game 5, King of the Hill. Pain Gaming is #1 in the West.
Yep. Immortals falls down 3-2. Pain moves to the top at 4-1. And look at their team celebrate. What a crazy deck. What a great call by their coach. And Pain Gaming has the day over Immortals. You saw early on Royal taking the first game of King of the Hill, deciding in the second game not to go to his bread and butter in Golem, because that's a lot of what you would probably put him on. Now, Royal is known for playing many decks, but he's known best for playing Golem. So what happens later on? Pressure's up again against Immortals. Lapa goes back to his bread and his butter, and Pain Gaming calls the bluff. They just go all in.
And it's been, fantastic run for Lapa so far. But at this point now, the question becomes for the future for the young man, do you continue playing Mortar, or now do you feel like you have to dig deeper into your deck pool?
I mean, maybe you open with Mortar now instead of following with it. He's been opening with a different deck and then following with Mortar. He's got to switch it up, I believe.
So here we go. Let's head down to the floor where we're standing by with our winners.
All right, guys, I got Wen here from Pain Gaming. Congratulations. The smile says it all. Now, I have to ask you, tell me about that snipe in Game 5.
Entendeu?
Sim. Bom, a gente praticou contra os decks dele, então eu e o Lampião tentamos achar o melhor deck que podia counterar todo os decks dele. E esse foi a melhor opção, tanto é que eu já jogo bem de tornado, então pro meu estilo de jogo contra o dele, a gente pensou que esse seria a melhor opção e deu muito certo, porque ele realmente usou isso.
Yeah, he said it was like totally on purpose. We practiced against his decks, against Mortar, and yeah, it worked so well. And he was saying we together, especially to find a deck that countered perfectly, and it worked out.
It worked out, yes. And so this is my second question. I want to, at what point that focus point practice to take down AC and RG, can you explain a little bit on that?
Ele perguntou os principais pontos para ganhar do Acrap e do RF no 2v2.
Bom, o principal ponto é que a gente sempre pratica com os decks que eles usam, a gente sempre tenta achar o melhor deck para cada um, independente se é 1v1 ou é 2v2, a gente sempre tenta achar os melhores decks que vão counterar. A gente não vai no que a gente sabe jogar, a gente vai tentando counterar o que eles podem jogar, e eu acho que esse é o principal ponto da nossa equipe. A nossa estratégia de pré-jogo é muito boa.
He said our pre-match preparation is so good because we practice against his decks, their deck, and not only on 1v1 but also in 2v2. So we were so ready to play against them. We tried to find a good deck against them, and we found and we played, and it worked out as well.
Indeed, it did. So this is my last question. Is there anything you'd like to say to your fans, your community for Pain Gaming?
Bom, o que eu quero dizer é torça pra gente, porque vocês estão vendo que o Brasil aí tá sendo bem representado e a gente vai continuar assim, a gente só para aqui na China.
Well, that says it all. Well, guys, I can't wait to hear this breakdown from the desk. Guys, take it away.
I don't know if we're playing Call of Duty or Clash Royale, because that snipe came from all the way across the river. Unbelievable deck construction to go up against that second time play Mortar bait.
You saw it. You saw it on Lapacati's face. He was speechless. That was an unbelievable decksmanship from Pain Gaming. Nothing for Lapacati to do there.
So, some results we thought we'd see today, some results we were surprised by today. Let's get into it. Starting off the day, it was Fnatic going 2-0 over SK Gaming.
Yeah, sweeps all day long. Complexity sweeps Dignitas, Tribe sweeps Team Liquid, and lastly of the day, Pain Gaming sweeps Immortals in a shocking turn to take first place and move the NA champions down the rung.
So yeah, Pain Gaming at the top of our standings, and of course some other movement up and down. Andrew, take us away.
Yeah, Pain Gaming now 4-1. Complexity in second place at 3-1. Fnatic 3-2. Immortals and Cream Esports all at 3-2 in third, fourth, and fifth place as we get into the middle of the pack. Tribe Gaming working their way up. A very tough battle for them, but they are in playoff contention. Team Liquid at 2-2. Team Queso 2-3. SK Gaming now 1-2. And at the bottom of the charts, we've got Dignitas at 1-4. Misfits 1-3. And Energy at 1-2.
So there we have it, the end of our Saturday. A great Saturday it was. Of course, we are here 3 days a week. Get us Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. For those midweek games, show up here at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. over on the East Coast. And on those weekends, and the wake up for you guys over there on the West at 10 a.m. and on the East 1 p.m. Grab a lunch, come sit down, eat your sandwich while you watch some fantastic Clash Royale. Of course, once again, I'm Rich Slayton. That's Andrew Guy. We will see you tomorrow. And I'm afraid of the Rascals because twins that are dressed the same when they're children really freak me out.
Nightmares. See you guys tomorrow.